Welcome back to the Retro Wave. I am your host, El Tiburon, and to this month's topic, we're going to be talking about our favorite retro games to play with friends. And this time I got not one, not two, but I got three very special guests. So just to keep it a little streamlined, I'm going to introduce each one of you at a time. So I'm going to just go from left to right. I'm going to start with Zomberry. What's going on, Zomberry?
Hey, what's up, Tiburon?
Why don't you tell the people, what you do, who you are, and what you do?
Sure. I go by Zomberry. I don't do anything on YouTube other than watch other people's videos.
I was about to ask you too, because I know when I met you first, you weren't doing anything, but I know that White was kind of like, "Hey, are you gonna start that YouTube channel yet?"
Well, yeah, you're part of my streams now, so you do something.
Oh, yeah, that is true. But I haven't started my own channel or anything. That just seems like a lot of work and a lot of editing, and I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But I've been a game collector since probably the late 80s, early 90s with my NES was my first console, and I've been playing and collecting ever since. Really got into it heavy within the last probably 5 or 6 years. Do a lot of buying out of collections and sell some games here and there for beefing up my collection.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to have you on here. When we've done lives with Mr. White, you got like that giant collection behind you.
Yeah, I've got a pretty good collection. I'm close to 2,000 games.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. And since we heard him speak up already, Mr. Tight White, why don't you let the people know who you are, what you do?
What's up, guys? What's going on?
What up?
So my channel is Mr. Tight White, and I do video game collecting. I do little comedic skits, and then we do these horror streams as well. We were talking about horror movies and stuff. I got a small collection, maybe 20, 30 games, 35 maybe. Now I have about, 2,200 games probably. So, yeah, man, I'm excited to be on here and talking about Nintendo, man.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
I think someone asked me a question recently. It was a Sega kid or a Nintendo, and I said Sega, but I have to take that back. I think I'm a Nintendo kid.
Really?
Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah, that was the controversial topic back in the day, back in the 90s. Are you a Sega kid or a Nintendo kid?
I have more nostalgia for the Nintendo, for sure.
Same.
Yeah. And last but not least, Mr. Stevenson, Tylord. How's it going, Tylord?
Hey, buddy. Thanks for having me on here, Tiburon. I'm Steve. I go by Tylord Stevenson on YouTube. I sort of have like a dying YouTube channel, but I still try to post stuff from time to time. I'm friends of Tiburon and Tight White and Zomberry, a video gamer, video game collector, video game movie watcher, movie collector, like the pro wrestling, just like you. I enjoyed some of your previous podcasts. I've been enjoying listening to those when I'm on the elliptical, trying to lose some weight here after the lockdown. Yeah, probably a Nintendo kid. Nintendo was my first system in the late 80s, and then I went on to Super Nintendo. About this time, anything retro, I like Genesis, Super Nintendo, whatever. Yeah. So that's Tylord Stevenson. I don't know how I came up with my name. It's sort of like a spin on my real name. I figure if I was ever a pro wrestler or I wrote a book, I would use that name, but I never did.
There's always time.
Yeah.
Hey, Mario can hook you up, man.
Yeah, DDP started in his late 30s.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's still hope.
And he's probably in better shape than most of them now, huh?
Yeah, he is.
Got that yoga going.
Got that DDP yoga. All right. Well, yeah. Right. Thank you guys for joining me, and I think we brought it up a little bit. I just met you guys, like maybe a few months ago. Right. Not in I was gonna say in not a common way, but maybe nowadays it's not so uncommon. I met you guys through YouTube.
Right.
So we met through YouTube. I had met Mr. Tight White on another channel through a live, and then I followed Mr. White's channel. And then you guys were having a discussion. I think you guys went for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
So
my streams definitely or our streams last a long time, man, for sure.
Yeah.
At least an average of 8 hours, but we've been 9 hours before.
Yeah, and I watched it on the replay, and I was like, damn, that looks fun. So then I saw you guys were gonna have another one, and I was like, I'm gonna jump in, see if they let me on.
Yeah, I didn't know who you were at first, and we were a little bit gun shy because of someone that we let in the previous week. I won't go into details about that, but then you said who you were, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you're cool, definitely. So
yeah, so you guys, I consider you guys like my YouTube brothers.
Yep,
right.
Same here.
Yeah, so all right, so I want to get into first like why I wanted to talk about favorite retro games to play with friends. When I think of summer and like being a kid, I remember like going to my friends' houses or my friends coming over to my house. You know, back in the day before Xbox Live or PlayStation Network, you actually had to go over to your friend's house.
Yeah.
If you wanted to play a co-op game, competitive game with them.
Very true.
Yeah, I was thinking about my nephew before the pandemic came over, and he had his tablet. He jumped on my Xbox One, hooked up with his friend on Rocket League. His friend was playing on the Switch, but they were still able to play together. And he had his friend on FaceTime on the tablet, like next to him. So they're like playing with each other, and he's like looking at it, talking to him, and I'm like, I looked at him, I was like, what? I was like, back in my day, Jack, I would have to go to my friend's house. I would have to take a walk and take my own controller, or else I got that shitty third party controller.
Yeah, those player 2 controllers can be pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah. So I told him, and he's like, really? I was like, yeah, I mean, there was internet, but if you wanted to play like Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis, you typically went to your friend's house, or they would come over your house.
Yeah, it's almost frowned upon these days. It's almost like it's a weird thing, like you're gonna play in the same room with the guy.
Yeah, and I've actually played a couple couch co-op games recently, like Yoshi, the Yoshi one on the Switch, and River City Girls. I don't know if you've heard of River City Girls.
Yeah.
Is that related to River City,
Ransom,
the other game, the original on the
NES?
NES?
It's a sequel, and and you can play it online. And my friend came over, and I'm like, this is kind of cool. Like actually sitting down and playing with someone and talking to them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't even have an option to play online. I like that.
Yeah, it's like you're forced. Like I think the new one that's coming out has that online option, but this first one didn't. So
right.
But I was like, hey, this was kind of cool, because then hey, you're hungry, let's go get something to eat. But yeah, that's why I brought up this topic. It just reminds the summer always reminds me of I don't know why, of going over to my friend's house, them coming over. I don't know if you guys feel the same way.
And then also like it built camaraderie with your friends, and it built a sense of teamwork.
Yeah,
you learn teamwork because you had to play together in order to reach your goal in a game. So that was pretty cool as well.
The fist bumps, the high fives.
Oh yeah.
And some of the arguments if you're playing a fighting game stuck in a corner and they're just sweeping the leg constantly.
Oh yeah, there was the opposite side of that where you wanted to kill somebody. Yeah,
that's what I was gonna say. Nowadays, you get cursed out by a 10-year-old, and they tell you that your mom's a slut and a whore, and you can't do nothing about it. But if you do that sitting next to somebody, back in those days, there was consequences.
Yeah,
or a thrown controller or two.
Yeah, so in going through our list, that's kind of what I kind of want to. Hopefully, you guys come up with some of those stories of like why you chose these games and what kind of memories it brings up for you guys, like playing with your friends or family members.
I'm getting old. I don't remember.
I don't think that IPA is gonna help either.
No, it's not.
Yeah, I was that's what I was telling my nephew too. Like back then, if you said some shit like and the guys next to you had to like be ready to get punched in the face or fight back.
Yeah, nowadays there's a 40-year-old yelling at some 13-year-old in China, cussing him out. You wouldn't do that in real life. Have a 13-year-old over cussing at him.
Yeah, or like what Zomberry said, if you're just doing like some cheap shit in Street Fighter 2, like sweeping.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, there might be a fight right there.
Yep.
Let's go to commercials, and then we'll jump right into the topic. All right, be right back.
Sounds good.
Was that the original console release Mortal Kombat trailer?
I think that was the trailer for like the Sega Genesis and the Super Nintendo.
Right.
That was our YouTube, I think, huh? Back then.
Yeah, I pre-ordered that back. I pre-ordered that back in the day off of, remember Funko Land? That it was in the magazines. You could order games ahead of time.
There was Funko Lands here in California. I don't think I have ever seen a Funko Land.
Oh no, it wasn't Funko Land. I think it was called Funko, the company that you could order video games from. It was in the magazines.
Oh, it wasn't an actual store.
Yeah, there was a store, but I don't know if it was associated with that. I remember I ordered them from this place called Funko.
I'm saying you had to order them online. You just couldn't go to a store, right? A physical store. Okay, yeah.
When I hear that commercial, I get flashbacks to when I had the Mortal Kombat for the Sega Genesis.
Right.
My friend Billy, when I got it, he of course came over because he wanted to play Mortal Kombat. And you know, there was always that can I borrow it? And you just got the game.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I just got this. Yeah, I'll lend it to you.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I was like, well, what? You know, there's got to be a fair trade. And he's like, I can lend you Altered Beast.
Oh,
that's which is like Altered Beast had to come out like, I don't know, like 4 years before.
It came out on the Sega Master System already.
Yeah. Right. And I was like, yeah, fine, whatever. I lend it to him, and I think I got a new game the next year. Yeah, there he goes. The new game the next year. And again, hey, can I borrow it? I was like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, what are you gonna lend me? He's like, Altered Beast. I'm like, why do you only like offer Altered Beast? I know you have new games. And he's like, oh, it's because my older brother, that's all he allows me to lend out.
I don't like fighter games, but I could play that Mortal Kombat right there in the Super Nintendo. I could play that. That's a good game.
With the no blood? With the gray blood?
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the Genesis one.
Yeah, I think you sent me the Genesis one. I have that one as well.
Yeah. That I could play, but I'm not a huge fighter fan, but I love that game.
This one does look a lot better. It looks pretty close to the arcade.
Yeah, I know Tylord is a big fighting fan.
Oh, yeah.
From your YouTube channel, I watched some of the videos. I'm like, yeah, I think this guy likes fighting games a little bit.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna go through our top 5 favorite retro games to play with friends, and so it can be co-op and competitive, either one of those. We're gonna start from 5 to 1. So we're gonna start with Zomberry's number 5 favorite retro game to play with his friends.
All right. So with my number 5,
I forgot to play this little music, but I think I'll just play it while you're talking. It's kind of cute. you keep going.
Yeah, that is like, man, that's bringing back some memories there.
I think that's I better.
No, you're probably right. I mean, you were right. It's,
what is it?
It's Tetris I don't want to give it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I love that one.
So my, I never really played it a lot with my friends, but I played it a lot with my mom. And
right.
This was the only game that my mother would play, the only video game my mom would play. She would sit there and watch us play, Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior, like all these games for hours and just do her own thing. But this game she actually played, and that was really cool to sit down and play with mom. She'd probably still play it today if I went over there and brought my Super Nintendo over. But it was a great co-op game, going back and forth. When you connect some blocks together, it attacks the other guy's side, and a lot of memories sitting there on the end of the couch playing that.
Is this only Yoshi like themed? Like, is Yoshi the only Nintendo character in it?
No, you could choose from a bunch of different characters, and each one had their own little theme and background.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you all know? Do you know this one, White?
The music or the game?
The game.
No, that's what I was just going to ask him. Was it like you had one side of the screen was you, and the other side of the screen was the person that you were playing, and you could attack your
Yeah.
yeah. I
And
mean, I
you
know what
could
Tetris is, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so you tried to build up your side, and this is one where the pieces, you could switch them back and forth, the different colors, and if you lined up a certain amount or a certain combination, it would drop pieces on the other person's side.
Oh, okay.
Or it would speed up and go faster, and you tried not to get to the top. And
Sounds like a game that would piss someone off.
yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, and like you were saying, your mom wasn't really a quote unquote gamer, but she dug it.
but yeah, she'd kick some ass at it.
Yeah, I think when you sent me your list, I told you my wife will play one video game like every 4 years. And when I started reselling on eBay, I bought this one and I kept it. She played it from like 6 p.m. to 3 a.m. in the morning. Her eyes were like bloodshot. And I could just hear this music in my dream, like this little music right.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny when someone's not a gamer, but they're really good at something they try, and then all of a sudden they're a gamer. You know, they love that game. You
yeah.
know?
And I wanted to put this one on the list. I tried to spread my list out among different platforms, and so this was my Super Nintendo game, and I knew it was one that nobody else would choose, most likely.
Yeah, but that's cool. I mean, that's what, and looking at the list, there's a couple of games that overlap, but not a whole lot. There's a lot of different games.
I figured there'd be some that overlap for sure.
Yeah, but not as much as I thought. I especially with 4 of us, I was like, there's gonna be hopefully there's not like just 25 games we're talking about. No, there's a lot of variety, so that's good. All right, so next we're gonna go to White's pick.
All right, so
Let me play this little. I couldn't find any damn music for this game, but
let's see if anybody guesses it from the theme music
I couldn't find theme music on
or
YouTube.
the sounds. I'll give them a few seconds here. 30 seconds. Kind of surprised.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Is that it? Is that all the sound?
This is like a full playthrough.
Oh, is it? All right, so my number 5 pick
Is that a Tiger handheld game?
My number 5 pick is Cyberball.
Oh,
And you know, I first played this game in the arcade, and man, we dumped so many quarters into this friggin' game, man. We used to love Cyberball. And then I think it was, let me see if I have any notes written on this game. I want to say, I might be thinking of something else, but I think that it came out the next year on the NES. But eventually it came to the NES, and we were blown the freak away. We're like, we can play Cyberball at home in our freaking house? Man, the sleepover started. My friends started coming over. One of my friends named Javier, we used to play the game all the time. And if you guys are not familiar with Cyberball, it's basically robots playing football. And if you don't get a first down in time within your 4 downs, the football explodes. And then whoever has the football, you lose that player. So really cool sound effects. I mean, you just felt like you're playing this futuristic game. Like I said, the arcade cabinet was badass, but you know, the NES it wasn't the same on the NES, but just to have it at home, we gave it a pass basically. So the main thing between the arcade and the home console that was different is in the arcade version, you could actually, you earned money by scoring touchdowns, and you could buy different robots. You could get like an aluminum wide receiver, or you could get a titanium wide receiver. So titanium wide receivers are like the best. So that was really cool. So when the NES version couldn't do that, that kind of sucked. But I mean, we still loved it, man. We had such a great time with it, and a lot of competitions over that game, a lot of friendships almost lost over that game. And Cyberball is one of the. I'm interested to see if you guys have played that game. You guys know Cyberball?
I've never played that game. Have you guys?
Really?
No, I know of it. If I did, it was very briefly.
Zomberry?
Yeah, I think I may have played it once, but we played a lot of Base Wars, which is the cyber baseball, but not a lot of the football.
Yeah, I recommend you guys try that out. I'll let you guys know there's a PS2. It might be like a Capcom collection or something like that. That has it on there where you can play it on the PS2. And I was trying that Capcom out the other day, and I started playing. I played like 6 games in a row, man. I was addicted to it again. Really fun game, man. Highly recommend it. Yeah, cool. That's on my number 5 spot.
So I don't know if we'd want to do this for each of our picks, but I'm kind of curious. When was the last time you played that?
That's a good point. Good question.
Well, yeah, like I said, I don't think that I have it on the NES right now, but I played it on the PS2 a couple weeks ago.
Oh. By yourself or with somebody else?
No, by myself. I was just testing games out, selling games, and tested it out, and I was like, oh, man, this is great. So, again, very surprised you guys have not played that, man. I highly recommend that. I'll let you guys know what you guys can Google it. I'm sure it came out on a few different systems after that, but really fun robotic football game.
I must have played it on that compilation. Maybe that's where I played it before, on that Capcom.
Yeah, I think it was on the Capcom. Yeah. One more thing about it, the receivers are everybody, the quarterbacks, the receivers. When you get hit a lot, you would start to deteriorate, and then all of a sudden your smoke would start coming from your robots. And you knew once the smoke started coming from your robots, if you got hit one more time, bammo, you explode.
Kind of sounds like remember Mutant League Football?
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, kind of like that. I got that game as well.
Yeah. How about for your number 5, Zomberry, since you brought up that question? When's the last time you played Tetris Attack?
Probably somewhere in the range of 25 to 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
I recently modded my Vita, and that's one of the few games I put on the Vita. I don't know why I put Tetris
really?
Attack. It's just one of those where you can jump in, play 10, 15 minutes, and jump back out.
Yeah, I need to convince my son to jump on it with me. I've got it. I just haven't played it in a long time.
Yeah, shame on you, man. Get that Tetris Attack, take it over to your mom's house, man, and start up some games, man. That'll be cool.
Yeah. All right.
Like you said, your mom might be happy to see it.
Yeah.
Probably.
She might binge it. I'll send my wife over.
She might be, get the hell out of here. I don't want to play a damn game.
My wife likes that one also.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve's wife's a gamer, man.
Yeah.
Oh, she is? Is that like one of her favorites then to play, or does she plays puzzle games?
Back maybe 10 or 15 years ago, yeah.
I think every lady's favorite game is Tetris. Women love Tetris, man. Right. I know so many that love it.
My wife loves Peggle. I don't know if you guys have played Peggle.
Never heard of that.
No, I've heard of it, but I've never played it.
She's like addicted to that damn game.
What would you think would be the number 1 lady video game of all time? I would say it was probably Tetris.
Yeah.
Barbie's Dream House on the Nintendo.
No, come on. Bratz on the PS2.
This is where my podcast gets canceled after 3 episodes by the PC culture.
You know what?
Hey, I was testing out Bratz of the PS2 the other day because I had to sell it.
Yeah.
And I always test a game for like at least 15 minutes or whatever. I found myself playing it for like 30 minutes. I was like, what am I doing here? Like you'd be at the mall and then somebody would say, it was like a quest type of deal. They would say, you need to go to the mall hair salon to get your hair done. I was like getting my hair done and stuff. I was like, I got to take this game out of here.
Man, that shit was like
I'm losing my mind.
It was like an RPG.
It is. It's Bratz is an RPG.
Yeah. All right. Let me cue up the music.
I probably lost all credibility with your podcast community, so
we can always edit that out, which I probably won't. But all right, let's. I'm gonna cue up the music for Tylord's number 5.
All right, we gotta play the guessing game here.
All right.
Almost sounds like Final Fantasy. I have no clue.
You don't know it either, Zomberry?
No.
Why don't you tell him what your number 5 is, Tylord?
Well, I don't actually have the game, the cartridge. It's Mario 64, Mario Kart 64 on
Mario
N64.
Kart 64.
Okay.
Yeah. But that one was around the time I really wasn't into gaming much. I was more into trying to get through community college and judo and stuff, and I wasn't too much into games until my little brother, for Christmas, he got an N64 and Mario Kart, and that's like one of the few games like my dad ever played a lot of. My little brother loved it. My sister and we'd all play that Mario Kart 64. It was that perfect like Christmas morning atmosphere, sort of like back in the 80s and the 90s with us. But my little brother, he was a little kid, 6 or 7, and he got that N64 with Mario Kart. And it was all the wrapping papers everywhere. We're playing I think he had 4 controllers. We're all playing the Mario Kart. My dad was really into it. My dad has always been a big car guy. Like he worked on cars for a living, and he liked racing. He was all into NASCAR and stuff. But he really liked that game for whatever reason. He's like, oh, look at how they lean into the turns. Like he liked the animation. Oh, how nice. Okay, I'm talking. Oh, that's nice, baby. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right.
But yeah, my little brother and my dad and I would all play that game. And then we do the little battle mode with the balloons where you knock them off. So that kind of reminded me of like Twisted Metal type.
Yeah, that was fun.
Mode. Yeah.
I like that stage with it was like 4 different color like towers, I think, with bridges.
Yeah.
Like bridges connected.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. Did you guys play that? Zomberry?
Yeah.
I didn't come up on that game, but I played it like later on.
Yeah.
As an adult.
Yeah, so it would have to have been like mid 90s or what did that, maybe late 90s?
Like late 90s, I think, yeah.
Yeah, it might have been around that's not too new for our discussion, right? It had to be before 99, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that disclaimer. I just asked you guys not to pick anything past
it had to be before that though, right?
Yeah, it was like 98, 97, I think.
Yeah, I played much more Super Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo than I did on the N64.
Yeah, the most people that I know say that the N64 Mario Kart is the best Mario Kart of all time. I'm not saying that it's not, but I have more nostalgic memories of the SNES kart, so that's kind of my favorite one.
I think the SNES one is harder to control though. I played it recently on the Switch. It's a little harder to control.
Yeah, I can see that. I love it. I have nostalgic memories of it.
Right.
So who was your guy though? Who would you pick, Tylord?
I like Bowser because he was kind of slow, but he could pick up the speed, right?
Yeah, he was like Donkey Kong, I think.
Yeah. I always pick Bowser.
But could you do the important question? Could you do that jump on that? What was it? The Wario stage, I think.
Right. Oh, I don't know if I ever got that one.
There was that jump in the beginning of the race where you would jump the whole course.
Yeah.
Be at the end of it.
Really?
So one of them I could skip through it a lot. You could go to the island. You could skip through it. You could go through the middle of the volcano.
And that would almost incite when I played it, like that would almost incite fights like, you can't do that jump, and then you would still do the jump. That's
just like throwing someone in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
I think I mostly picked Yoshi. I think a lot because I always thought the bigger characters like Bowser and Donkey Kong were just slower, even though they probably were the same. It didn't matter, but they're bigger and they look clunkier and slower.
Yeah.
And on the select screen, everybody would always jump to Yoshi and the fucking Toad. It was always Toad and Yoshi.
Have you noticed when Donkey Kong gets hit, like he gets knocked off the track, he makes a weird noise like, or is it like that?
I don't remember.
Am I wrong? That's what
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that. I always pick Mario or Luigi. That's all. I don't pick any of the other characters.
I would always pick Mario, and I would always lose because he was the middle of the road one.
Really?
All right. Now we're gonna go to my number 5.
Sure. Oh.
Just like Streets of Rage or something.
Sure. Sure is.
First guess, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my number 5 is Streets of Rage 2.
Good one.
I just remember playing the hell out of this cartridge. Like, I don't know. And it was kind of a hard game. Like, I don't think you had a limited continues, right? Like,
yeah, I think he had like 5 at the most. But you could build build up extra lives, but I think he only had 3 continues.
Yeah, I just felt like for a couple years, all I was playing was like this game, Streets of Rage 2, just trying to beat it. And it's one of those games that I mean, it's a beat 'em up. It still holds up. Like, it still looks good. The music's good. The combat system's good. Like, I mean, beat 'em ups are repetitive, but I think Streets of Rage 2 had like variety because you could throw a backhand with Axel. You could do a forward throw. You can jump over him and do another move on him. That's such a fun game. I don't know if you guys have any memories of Streets of Rage 2.
Satisfying. I think that Final Fight started that mechanic, but it was perfected in Streets of Rage, like the kind of crowd control where you throw the guy into them. Like if one guy's off to the side and you want to get him with the other ones, you toss them into that other group, and then they're all together, and you can go wail on them. It's like satisfying mechanics.
And I think it was there was friendly fire on it. So I remember that too as a kid. Like, hey, I take the top, you take the bottom. Because then if you would throw somebody, you would hit your buddy, and then you would get pissed off.
Yeah. Right.
How about you, Zombie? Did you ever play this one?
You know, growing up as a Nintendo kid and never having a Sega Genesis, I never got to play this. I would play the Sega at a friend's house who owned one, and he did not have this game. So I'm going to contradict myself later on in my other picks that I do pick a Sega Genesis game, but that's because everybody played that game.
How the hell did he have a Sega Genesis and did not have Streets of Rage 2?
I don't know. Maybe parents didn't like that. I don't know.
What about you, White? Did you ever play this growing up?
You know, I didn't come up on that one, but again, I played it later on as I was an adult.
Yeah. And they came out with a part 4 recently. Man, that one is really good. Really good.
We should play that online, Tiburon.
Yeah, I got it. I have that one.
Yeah.
I'm down.
You have it on Switch?
On the PS5?
I have it on the Xbox.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I have it on Switch.
It's probably better than part 2. It's really good.
Yeah, it's really close. Yeah, if it's not better, it's just as good.
Well, take us back in time. What did they have on what was the Genesis? They had Streets of Rage 1 and 2 on there?
Yeah, and 3. There was 1.
And 3. Okay. All
but 3 was hard. I remember it was like too hard.
I couldn't handle 3.
Like, this one was hard. Part 2 was hard, but you could still get through it if you strategize. Part 3 was like unforgiving.
That's pretty cool for a console to give you 3 games from the same series. You know what I mean? That's pretty badass. And you know, the Switch, or not the Switch, but the what was the one that came before the Switch?
The Wii U?
The Wii U couldn't give us one Metroid Prime game.
No kid. Hey, also N64 never gave us one Metroid, huh?
Yeah, there you go. They couldn't give us one, and Genesis is cranking out 3 friggin' games of a series that's just as popular.
Right.
And part 1, I don't know if you all beat part 1. That was the first time where the game, I don't know if it was the first time, but I got to the end. Mr. X, right, is the boss, I think. Yeah. And he asks you, hey, you want to fight me or you can join me? And we're like, let's join Mr. X, and you push yes, and he sends you all the way to like the beginning of the like the.
That's what you get. That's what you get. Try to turn to the dark side. That's what you get.
Son of a bitch. But it kind of taught you a lesson, like, hey, don't go to the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I mean, it's not like that, but it's close to that. When you beat Ghosts and Goblins, is one of the hardest games of all time. At the end, the devil's, by the way, misspelling everything in the text, but then sends you all the way back to the beginning of the frigging game. This is just an illusion. He misspells illusion. And then you got to go back to the beginning of the game. One of the hardest video games of all time. It's like, it's heartbreaking.
Now I wonder if Cuphead stole that from Streets of Rage then and Ghosts and Goblins, because Cuphead does that too. The boss asks you, do you want to join me? And it doesn't send you back. It actually ends the game, but you get the bad guy ending.
Oh, okay. Different ending.
Okay.
It's pretty crazy. All right. Well, that was my number 5. Let's see if you guys, since you guys started guessing the theme songs, let's see if you can guess Zomberry's number 4.
Oh,
Yeah, Tecmo Bowl.
Turtle.
Tecmo Bowl.
Not Tecmo Bowl.
Tecmo
Contra.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, Tylord got it, I think. What did you say?
Is that Contra? Is either
Yeah.
Contra.
am I breaking up?
No, we can hear you.
There you
Okay,
go.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Contra? I thought it was
It is.
Turtles at first, but I think it's
Well, are
It
those
is
all
Contra.
are those all Konami? Is
Yeah.
that why the music sounds the same?
Yeah.
Like Tecmo Bowl,
Yeah, they
Contra,
are,
and-
No, Tecmo Bowl's Tecmo.
Tecmo. Yeah,
okay.
the Konami's had a distinct sound though.
So that's your number 4, Zomberry. Tell us about
Right.
Contra.
Yeah, Contra is, man, that was it had to be like in the first 10 NES games I think I owned. Everybody had it growing up, and playing that with your buddy, that was just the best. And that caused so many fights with you and your friend, like who's gonna get the drops.
Yeah.
You know, like, you already had the spread, why are you getting the rapid fire? You know, it's my turn to get one, and then you get like a crappy one.
You get the crappy laser one.
Yeah, and it's like, God. But you know, and then after a while, after, you know, losing so many times, then you finally get a code, you know, to get a whole bunch of extra lives, and man, that made it so much better.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah.
Do you still remember
That
the
was
code?
one of the first. That was one of the very first games to use the Konami code.
Do you still know
One
it,
of the very
Zomberry?
first.
Yeah, that up, down, down, left, right,
Yep.
right, BA, select start, or select
Dang.
start because it was 2-player. Yeah.
I couldn't believe I didn't use it as a kid, man. It kind of pisses me off, but I was stubborn.
So White, it sounds like you
And
play-
it gives you 30 lives with each continue, right?
Yeah, that's what it is. 30 lives.
Uh-oh.
What about White? Did you play this growing up? I have a feeling you did.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I played it a bunch. One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really get into a lot of the sequels. I've got a few of them, but like the Contra Hardcore, it's a pretty expensive game, but it's a good one too. I just haven't played it a whole lot.
Which one was that? That was the was that the N64? No, it was the PS1, right?
Yeah, and they made it on Genesis as well.
Okay.
They haven't made a good Contra game in a long time, huh? Because I know they brought up one
No.
recently, and they got really bad reviews.
That series jumped the shark, man, at the PS1. The PS1 made 2 bad Contra games, and they never came back from that. You know, a cool fact about that game is the name of it, Contra. It was associated with the Contra Nicaragua situation. I don't know if you guys know that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where they got the title from.
During the Reagan administration.
Yeah, remember we were selling guns to Nicaragua military. So that's kind of where that all came from. And another fun fact on that is the European version of the game and the what was the 2 versions of the game? It was you had the United States, you had the European, and what would be the other version?
Japanese?
Yeah, the Japanese. They all had different names.
Oh, really?
Europeans did not they didn't want to have anything to do with the name Contra because of that controversy.
Right.
And the Japanese as well.
Damn.
One of them was called Probotector, and the other one was called like Rizar or something like that.
Is that the
It had totally
Probotector
different
one
names.
where they were like robots?
Yep, the Probotector one was a robot. So just an interesting fact that the United States, they didn't want to have anything to do with that, the other countries.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, this is one actually I didn't really play much as a kid.
Wow.
I was really into I think I just liked bad games on the NES because I never played Zelda or
Oh,
Contra.
man.
I would play just WrestleMania Challenge, WrestleMania.
Oh god, that's awful. I played those too.
That's all I played. I love those games.
Yeah, I could beat WrestleMania without dying. You could do that trick where you jump off the turnbuckles and just keep running back and forth.
Yeah, but
I'll tell you the best way to play Contra was with the old NES Advantage controller.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Because you got the joystick that you can hit the diagonal with, and you had the turbo. It made it so much better.
right.
Almost cheat mode.
Well, Mario, you just lost the whole podcast community and said you did not play Zelda. Come on, man.
My first Zelda game I've ever played is Breath of the Wild, which I was playing today. Breath of the Wild. I beat that son of a bitch in the desert. Have you played it, Zomberry? Breath of the Wild?
The camel. You beat the camel boss.
Yeah, was it the camel? It wasn't the desert, and that boss is an asshole. Fucking hate that guy. With the electricity, he had like electricity on him.
Yeah. I played that. That's one of my. That's probably my favorite game of all time. So yeah,
that's my first Zelda game ever. I never played Zelda growing up.
Which is your first Zelda game ever?
The one that just came out, the Breath of the Wild for the Switch. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that was who's what? Oh yeah, that was Zomberry's number 4. So let's see if you guys can guess Mr. Tight White's number 4 with the theme.
Yeah, let's see what my number 4 is.
All right, I know this one. Double Dragon 2.
Damn, you knew that one. With a silver bullet.
That's pretty good that you didn't guess Double Dragon, the first Double Dragon. I'm impressed.
And speaking of that, Tight White, first when he sent me the list, he said Double Dragon 1. And in the back of my mind, I was like, I thought the first one didn't have co-op. And then you text me like, oh, never mind, I meant number 2.
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that? I'm most nostalgic about Double Dragon 1.
On the Nintendo?
Yeah, I am. I'm most nostalgic about that one. But since we're doing a co-op, I couldn't put that one, obviously. But yeah, man, we used to play this in the arcade, man. We dumped a bunch of quarters into this frigging game, man. We used to love it. And then, of course, we got the NES release of it, and we were so disappointed that there was no co-op. We're like, oh, come on. We want to play this game together, man. And but then, like, I think it was like a year or 2 later, they came out with Double Dragon 2, and the co-op was there. We were so friggin' happy.
Yeah, buddy.
And, man, this game was like, it had first of all, none of the Double Dragon games were like the arcade games. They always did different stuff with the NES versions, but Double Dragon 2, it had a bunch more levels than the first one. It had so many different weapons. There's so many more weapons. Had so many more characters. It had much more like platforming, and it was a blast, man. That was one of the best NES games ever made. We friggin' loved it, man. We played it so much. We had to put thousands of hours into that game.
Yeah.
On Double Dragon 2, you could choose whether you could hit your opponent, your teammates or not. So we were assholes, man. So we were constantly hitting each other in the back of the head, pissing each other off, man. We couldn't help ourselves, man. We literally we never beat Double Dragon 2 because we're always effing around, punching each other and just messing the game up. But man, it was hilarious, man.
That's infuriating, especially because it has limited continues. That could be infuriating.
Oh yeah.
I beat that one like 6 years ago on the the Retron 5 with my friend, and we were like laughing the whole time.
It doesn't count. It doesn't count if it's on the Retron. Does not count. Well, I didn't beat it. I'm pissed. I didn't beat it.
It's hard. There's that platforming stage towards the end.
Yeah.
Fuck that stage. I couldn't beat that without the Retron. I just kept going back to my save state.
Oh, okay. You use the save state. Yeah. That's what's funny about the Retron. You guys know I just picked up that Retron recently. I never had a Retron before. Yeah. So this is how dumb I am. Number one, there's a problem with the pins on it. So I'm just going to probably get rid of it. I'm not going to try to fix it or whatever, because hardly any of my NES games work in it after I clean them.
Man.
But anyway, when they do work, the controller would never work. And it took me 3 weeks to realize that there's 2 ports for the controllers, and I was in port 2. That's why the controller would work.
Oh, you were on the right side.
I was like, the Retron 5 sucks, man. The controllers don't work. They don't read games. But I had a hard time with it. But really cool game, man. Lots of fun. And you could do all kinds of other stuff. You could jump up in the air and do that kick where you go back and forth with the kick.
Oh yeah, like the Takamaki.
Yeah. And the only thing that was weird about it, you had to get used to what was different from the other one. You had to turn your back to your opponent and kick backwards.
Yeah, the A button punched right and the B button.
Yeah. So that took some getting used to on the game, but after you got used to it, you're okay.
Yeah.
I remember Arnold like a Arnold character being in there too.
Yeah.
I think he's you fight him at the helicopter, I think.
I think so.
Did you play this one, Zomberry?
To get to the chopper level.
Yeah.
No, I'm just like Tight. I played the first one a lot, but then by the time the second one came out, we were probably on to something else. Didn't play it a whole lot.
Yeah, and Mario, you can thank Double Dragon. That was revolutionary. Double Dragon. That's why the Streets of Rage came out later on.
Yeah,
Double Dragon was the first of that type of mold.
Fun fact about Double Dragon: horrible movie.
I don't think I've seen that movie.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Does it have Claude Van Damme in it?
No, it has Mark Dacascos.
I'm gonna guess that Steve likes it.
Steve.
No, I just like it because it's bad. But it's terrible.
I knew it.
It's not good at all.
That's a '90s one, right? Like
I like Mark Dacascos. He's one of the Billy brothers, or the.
Good game though. I mean, that's the one you would. I mean, is that the only one you could play co-op? There's a part 3, right, on the Nintendo?
Okay, so.
Oh yeah.
So part 1, no co-op. Part 2, co-op. Part 3 sucks.
Oh.
Dude, it's hard.
In the series.
Number 3 is freaking difficult.
Yeah.
So play part 2 pretty much.
2 is definitely the one to go to, yeah.
It's kind of sad because 3 looks really good, like the presentation and the graphics, but it's just a freaking.
You guys ever come on vacation down this way, man? Well, you can stay at the house, man, and we'll beat Double Dragon 2 together.
we can try
on the actual hardware,
not on the Retron.
Not on the Retron.
I could do Golden Axe, but I don't know if I could beat Double Dragon 2.
I think part 3 will also cost you about 5 times as much as part 2 as well.
Yeah, part 2 is pretty cheap still, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Zomberry's number.
That was
White's number 4. So now let's go to Tylord. Let's see if you guys can guess. This is a 10-second clip, so let's see if you can guess it in 10 seconds what Tylord's number 4 is.
Terrible. Oh no, that's it.
What was it?
No, it's not.
Who knows it?
That was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Which one though?
That would be part 2.
Yeah.
Right.
That's Tylord's number 4. Tell us about it,
Yeah,
Tylord.
still got it. Okay, so I think we were pretty young kids when this came out, maybe no older than 10 or 11. But this was at the arcade. And remember back, we used to walk to the mall like our parents didn't care. We could just go ride our bikes or walk places. And we thought, or our parents would drop us off when they go shopping at the arcade. And I thought they were really doing us a big favor, but really they're just getting us out of their hair. And like we have like 4 quarters, which gets us like 4 games, but we can make it last a while. But that Ninja Turtles game was there, and everyone was big into the Turtles cartoon and the movie around that time. But this Turtles game was in the center of the arcade. It was the arcade version of this thing, and it looked just like the cartoon, and it had the intro from the cartoon. You could have 4 guys at once playing. So my buddies and I would play it. I don't think we ever got that far, but we probably got up to like the 3rd level or something. But we just loved that freaking thing, and we want to get this on Nintendo. So we asked for Christmas for Ninja Turtles. I think our parents got us all that first one, the pain in the butt one. It's a platformer, and there's no co-op, but we still tried to hype it up, and that's like the only game we had like for a year. So we tried to play it. But then I think a year later, whatever, Christmas, the arcade game came out on Nintendo. My cousin and I would go watch the Ninja Turtles movie, and then we come home and play this thing. And we played it all the freaking time. Or I'd walk over to his house and play it. And I don't think we ever even beat it. I still can't beat this thing without cheating.
This one has extra stages, right? Like
yeah. And I actually even prefer this more to the arcade. Like back then, it looks way worse, and it only has like a few enemies on screen at once. But back then, like we were all hyping it up. Oh yeah, this looks like the arcade. It doesn't look anything like it. But just like having this back then, and my cousin and I could play this. I think later on, my wife had been into it. And after I met her, she revealed to me she was a fan of this game. So we put it on the Game Genie, and we put on Infinite Continues and beat it early in our relationship.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you sent me the list, you put NES. I was like, does he mean the arcade one? But you actually preferred this one.
Yeah. Oh, I prefer because the first NES game didn't have co-op. I guess you could take turns or whatever. A lot of good memories from the past was like with Mario, like you take turns, player 1 and 2. But I was thinking more of like co-op or competitive. But yeah,
when you really think about it, I mean, the NES was really revolutionary when it came to co-op games.
Right.
Because if you think back in the past, like Atari, ColecoVision, there was no co-op games. There was like you could play like a sports game maybe against each other, but you didn't have games where you're teammates trying to, at least not that I remember.
Yeah, because I don't remember if this was around the time of Double Dragon 2, but I hadn't played that at this point. But just the idea, like you could play through a game with your buddy, like two guys at once, it seemed really cool. Like it's double the experience. Something.
I mean that didn't happen prior to the NES, I don't believe.
Yeah.
So did you play this one, White?
No, I was never into the Turtles at all. I didn't even see the movie when it came out. I literally saw the first movie probably a year ago.
What? Oh yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah, kind of weird. Yeah. And I enjoyed the movie, but I wasn't blown away by it. But I didn't have the nostalgia that people have.
Yeah,
I get it. You know what I'm saying? And I do want to see part 2 of it because Vanilla Ice is in it, and I think that'll be funny.
Yeah, those two are about the only thing I haven't. Ninja Turtles haven't really stuck with me. Like I'm not a big fan anymore, but I do like those first 2 movies and this game.
And they're coming out with a new. Have you seen the new one they're coming out with? A new Turtles
I heard
game.
Something about
that.
Oh, nice.
And it's a throwback. It's pixelated. So it's 16-bit graphics. Cool. It looks really good.
And my friends and I used to play this one in the arcade too, and we started playing. I almost put this on my list.
Right.
Not to spoil that I don't have it on my top 3, but I almost put this on my list.
But you were going to put the arcade or the Nintendo version?
No, the Nintendo, or I guess it didn't really matter. I just liked that game.
It matters.
I didn't have a preference. We didn't play it a lot at the arcade. We played it a lot on the NES, so I might have chosen the NES.
Yeah.
But it was pretty fun. I remember a lot of the killer move in that one that you learned later on was the jump kicks. That you could like stun lock the bosses if you could time it just right, and they couldn't do anything against you.
Oh, I had forgotten about that.
If you jump and attack really close to each other, like bam bam, like they do a special like jumping attack.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take off their own energy like it does with Final Fight, and you can just like get them locked. Or you can do the jump kick back and forth also.
Yeah.
I remember doing that to Rocksteady, stage 1 right there.
Yeah.
In retrospect, I do remember that arcade cabinet. I shouldn't say I didn't play it. I didn't play it on the Nintendo. I remember that arcade cabinet being a real big buzz around that game.
Yeah.
Like everybody was playing that game. So I did play that cabinet.
Yeah, that's a great one.
It was a 4-stick cabinet, if I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah. Just like Simpsons, and I think X-Men had 8. Or no, X-Men had 6. Simpsons,
I believe so. Yeah, that was a popular
X-Men.
one.
Yeah, had the biggest. It had more than 4, right?
Yeah, NBA Jam had 4, or did it have 6? No, it had 4. Yeah,
because X-Men had double screens, right? It had like 2 screens.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was the one I left off my list. You just mentioned that. I'm kind of thinking to myself, man, I should have put that one on my list.
All right. Well, now we're gonna go to my number 4. I don't think any of you guys are gonna guess this theme song. Maybe Tyler.
Okay, I can make a guess. Just because I know you're a wrestling guy, is it Saturday Night Slam Masters?
Close. It's WCW versus the NWO World Tour.
Right. Yeah.
On the Nintendo 64. Yeah. When I put this on the playlist for music, I was like, man, this song's horrible. It like hurts my ears listening to it. But man, WCW versus NWO World Tour on the Nintendo 64.
Right.
As a late 90s NWO WCW versus WWF at the time, this thing was awesome.
There was.
Yeah, I mean, you were a big wrestling fan too, right, Tylord?
Yeah, that you couldn't get any better than that at the time, or for many years. I don't think it got any better than that.
And this was the thing that I loved about the Nintendo 64 was that it had the 4 controller ports.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
You could do a Royal Rumble, right? Or they didn't call it Royal Rumble, but you could have a battle royal with 4 guys at once.
I remember we were so deep into this game in high school that we would like sign contracts. Like somebody would be the hypothetical champion, and then in high school, like my friend would be, "Hey, I want a title shot." Be like, "All right," and then we'd have to sign the contract, but we'd give stipulations. You have 10 minutes to beat me, and Tiburon's gonna be the referee, which you could do like triple threat, I think. But I would just stand there, and it was the late 90s, so I would always double cross. Yeah. I would always hit the guy and not let my friend lose.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, but this game, man.
This is the early maturation of our boy as becoming a wrestler right here. I can see it. I can see it.
Man, we were signing contracts, and all right, hey, you didn't read the fine print, which we would write really small writing at the bottom of the paper, like this is not a title match, by the way. If you beat me. Yeah. Did you play this one, Tylord?
Oh, all the time, yeah. I think my brother actually had the N64, but I got this game at GameStop or whatever to play over there, and we played this all the time.
Yeah. Knowing Steve as long as I've known him, he actually beats these wrestling games. Like he'll send a text. I just beat the next wrestling game. Like he's into it, man.
Could you beat this one? This didn't have a story mode, did it?
No, I'm saying that he's beat a lot of like wrestling games before.
Yeah. It's like fighting games, yeah.
I know you White and Zomberry, you guys aren't as big into wrestling as me and Tylord. Did you guys play this game at all?
No. It was funny that you mentioned it because they have it at my Goodwill right now behind the glass for way too much. So I looked it up and I'm like, nah, I'm not picking it up for $19.99.
It was like $2 for years.
Yeah, all the wrestling games have went up in price. If you look at a lot of the consoles, a lot of wrestling games have went up.
What did you think of Revenge? I kind of like that one just as much, and they had a bigger roster.
I think it's better, but I think nostalgia-wise, this one.
Oh, right.
This one was my favorite. Yeah.
So my brother and I used to be really into wrestling in the 90s. You know, we'd watch it. But the only wrestling game that I had was WrestleMania on the NES. I didn't get any of the later ones on the N64.
Yeah, I'm
so
sorry.
No, I never played this.
Oh man, super. Well, I think you have to be a wrestling fan. I don't know what you think, Tylord, to play this game, to appreciate it.
I don't know. It has really responsive and simple controls. I really like it's intricate, all the stuff you can do on it, but it's really simple and user friendly, don't you think?
Yeah.
Because it's like one button's punch, one button's grapple, and once you grapple, and if you time it right, if you hold it longer, you can do a stronger move. But you can't do that right away. You have to wear them out first. And if you press any direction with any of the buttons after you grapple, it's a different move.
Yeah.
I remember they had endless moves. And then like on the ground, you could stomp with the punch button, or you could get them in a hold with the grapple button. It was
intricate, like for sure.
Yeah.
I remember
but it was pretty,
Remember, it had a TKO option. When wrestling, you pin a guy 1, 2, 3. But there was you could turn on TKO where you beat up a guy so bad that you'd knock him out and he can't continue the match. So
they'd be all bloody, right?
Yeah, my friend would choose Scott Norton and hold my friend Billy, and he would hold the strike button and he would throw like this fucking haymaker and knock people out.
So, who was your favorite character on the game?
I think I picked Eddie Guerrero a lot. Eddie Guerrero.
I like that.
Well, I'm Mexican, so I got to pick the Mexican guy. But I also picked. Go ahead, Tyler.
Oh, he had a cool theme song. It sounded kind of like Lowrider, remember?
Yeah. And I don't know if Tyler remembers this, but in the game, there's actual fictional wrestlers like that don't even exist.
Yeah, there's phony, and then there's like Japanese wrestlers too.
Yeah.
And then there's phony baloney ones, like there's a THQ man and all that.
Well, to earn some points with you 1990s wrestling fans, you know, you guys know me. I was a huge fan of wrestling before that. The Hacksaw Jim Duggan days, the Rock and Roll Express days, and Brickhouse Brown days, Junkyard Dog when he first started it off.
Yeah.
But and Tyler would know this. I can't think of the name of it, or maybe I can think of the name of it. The only wrestling game I really effed with a lot was the first wrestling game that I ever played on the NES. I think it was called Pro Wrestling.
Oh, Pro
Remember
Wrestling.
that, Steve?
Yeah, it's the Nintendo. It's the Black Label one, right? Or the
Yeah,
black,
and you'll know when I explain this if it's the game that we're talking about. You would like if you grab the other wrestler, then you had to press a button a bunch of times, and it would change the moves. You keep pressing the buttons to choose the move, and then once you got to the move, you'd press another button, and then he would execute that move.
Oh, maybe it was tag team wrestling.
Was it Tecmo? Because there was Tecmo, remember? Tecmo.
Oh, Tecmo was darn good too.
It was one of the early releases, but I just remember you'd grab them and you had to press a certain button, and it would select. It would go through all the different moves you could possibly do, and then you hit another button and it executed the move.
Because Tecmo was kind of like that. You would lock.
We played the shit out of that wrestling game. Like we loved it.
Did a menu come up and you select the moves?
Yeah. You would see like a menu.
That was tag team wrestling. Yeah.
Okay, so I love that game. Tag team wrestling, man. Oh man, that was back when I was into wrestling. I love that game.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Before Current Affair came in and told everybody it was fake.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, what? Wrestling's fake?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. I don't want to get you going. I don't want to make you cry. I don't want to make you cry in your own podcast.
All right. Well, that was my number 4. So now we're gonna go back to Zomberry, and let's see if you guys can guess his number 3 off this theme. I see the wheels turning in Tylord's head right now.
At first, I thought it was Golden Axe, but
yeah, it is.
It is Golden Axe.
Oh yeah,
Golden Axe on the arcade to be specific, right?
Yeah. It's not. Yeah.
Tylord, you are the theme song champion so far.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Oh man. So yeah, the Golden Axe at the arcade. It was at the arcade I went to in Lawton, Oklahoma. Was at the Thunderbird Lanes bowling alley, and my parents were on a league, and so we'd go up there every Friday and Saturday night, and they had probably 10 machines in their arcade, and Golden Axe was right there in the middle. And because it was such a big machine, but man, getting to play that, like we were big fans. My best friend Philip and I we played Dungeons and Dragons a lot, and so we were used to the wizard and barbarian and thief and all these different tropes and themes, and being able to play that on an arcade was awesome.
Yeah, that nails like the fantasy vibe like nothing else, that game, huh?
Yeah. And getting multiple people on that machine at the same time was just fun. But oh my God, did you have to feed it quarters? It took so much money to play that.
Who would you pick though as your character?
I think I picked the barbarian most of the time.
So there was a barbarian,
or the fighter,
and there was the little guy, a girl, and then the little troll dude.
Yeah, the little troll guy. Yeah,
the little guy is his name Gilead Thunderhead. You could just spam that headbutt, the running headbutt. You could.
I didn't play this a lot until the 360. I think they had like the compilation on there, and I.
Oh right.
It was a funny game. You could ride like that weird creature with
that weird chicken. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Did you play this in the Tylord, you play this in the arcades?
I mostly played it on Genesis, but I like the arcade as well. Yeah, that's why I didn't quite notice, because it sounds a little bit better on the arcade. It
was too crisp. The arcade
version. Yeah, right.
I could beat it on Genesis. I was really proud of myself when I beat it on Genesis because it has an extra level.
What about you, White? Did you play this in the arcades?
I played it a little bit in the arcade. I played it on my Pioneer Laser Active because I think it came on a 6-pack.
Oh, no.
There's a cool 6-pack, Sega Genesis 6-pack, so I can play it on my Pioneer Laser Active. So I played it a lot on there.
The thing that's trash about that particular print of it, that Sega CD disc with a compilation, that game doesn't have a 2-player mode. It's like the exact thing.
I thought it was also on the cart Sega Genesis too.
Yeah, it's on the cart. Yeah, but that's in the Sega CD release. They put the arcade music on it.
Oh, okay.
But they took out 2-player. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Oh yeah, for that game you got to have co-op.
Yeah, good game. All right, we're gonna go next to. Let's see if you guys can guess White's number 3.
This is a pretty easy one.
RBI baseball.
Yeah,
damn, that's
one.
like.
Yeah,
he got that one.
I love that one.
Yeah, man. Me and my buddy Javier played this game all the freaking time, man. I mean, we love this game. So me and my buddy Javier, we played straight pitch.
What does that mean? Straight pitch.
You could strike the F out of people in this game. Like literally, you would go innings without getting hit. So we would do straight pitch, which was basically you pitch straight down the middle. Okay. But you were allowed to manipulate the speed, because I don't know if you guys remember in RBI baseball, if you press the diagonal backwards, it would throw an off-speed pitch.
Yeah.
If you just pressed your button, it would throw an average speed pitch. And then if you pressed up on the diagonal pad, it would throw a fastball.
Well,
that might not seem like a big deal, but when Nolan's pitching 100 fucking 5 miles an hour, excuse my French, that's a big deal when you're throwing off speed. You can literally strike people out just doing the off speed and the if you had a fast enough fastball pitcher.
And those curves, if you were playing curves, man, those could go like 4 feet out of the box and then back in.
Yeah, so that's why we didn't do that. I mean, of course we did that, but I mean, for a long time we did the straight pitch because it's a hitter's game, man. And speaking of pitching, so Roger Clemens and Nolan Ryan threw the fastest balls of the game, man. Though they were far and above and beyond anybody else as far as throwing fastballs.
It had a real roster, like real players.
Yeah, it was the very first game to actually get the MLB Players Association, not the team. And just the same with another game like that was Super Tecmo Bowl. They had the players, but they couldn't get the team.
Yeah.
Or maybe Tecmo Bowl did, but Super Tecmo Bowl had both of them. So
I think it just had this. They had the city's name or something, right?
Yeah, they had like the nicknames of the teams.
Was
like
this
the Jays or the you know what I'm saying?
Was this the one where you could play multiple seasons? Like you could play not just one season, multiple seasons?
I'm sure you could play multiple seasons. We didn't do the season much because we always did co-op and played against each other.
But RBI baseball, from what I remember, it was known as like the simulation baseball game. Like it wasn't arcadey. It was like supposed to be more realistic than the regular baseball Nintendo game.
Well, I don't know how realistic it was. It was a bunch of fat guys playing baseball. That was the funny thing about it. It's like
they look like Cabbage Patch Kids.
Yeah, it was so weird. You could hit the longest home runs with Mark McGuire, and I would say probably Andre Dawson from the Cubs. I always remember that. Home runs in that game, you could hit home runs out of the ballpark. I remember hitting a home run one time went off the screen, like the top of the screen. Like we used to love hitting home runs in this game.
It would tell you how far it went, right?
No, it did not.
Okay.
It did not. I had to go back and watch gameplay today just to see if that, because I was thinking it did, but it did not.
Did it sound a little
later
bit?
Games did, and that was fun when later games did that.
Did it sound a little bit like this when you were gonna hit a home run?
Yeah, give it. Come on, baby.
Well, that was
weak.
That was a pop fly. That wasn't a home run.
It was fun. You couldn't find the home run?
No, I think you asked me for a pop fly.
No, I wanted a home run sound effect.
What's the difference between that and the home run sound effect? The crowd goes crazy.
It's a lot louder. It's. I can't do it. I tried to do it like a couple of days ago. It doesn't sound right. But have you guys ever played Ikari Warriors?
Yeah, played that
The
religiously.
sound of the grenade in the air sounds exactly like a home run in RBI baseball. I swear to God, it's crazy. So, okay, so the fastest player in the game was Vince Coleman. He was so fast in the game. Like if he just hit a dribbler to the second baseman, he would beat it out every time to first base. I don't know how big baseball fans you guys are. Vince Coleman is like the greatest base stealer of all time. He played for the St. Louis Cardinals with Ozzie Smith.
I don't watch
baseball fans. Or
I
no?
don't watch baseball. I don't know about you guys.
So
you guys watch
Vince
baseball?
Coleman was blazing fast. So that was cool. You could actually, so that whole team, St. Louis, had a bunch of fast people on it. So you could actually pick that team and try to play fastball and try to bunt the ball and get on first base and steal bases. So that was really cool.
On the game, he probably looked more like Gary Coleman on the game, huh?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. But man, RBI baseball, man, thousands of hours we put into this game. We played it all the time. Loved RBI baseball, first of its kind.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious character and animations, but yeah, man, they actually it was one of those first games where even like Fernando Valenzuela, like his curveballs were better than anybody's curveballs. Like he had more movement on his balls, so it was like realistic in that sense. Mark McGwire had more power than mostly everybody else. So that is my what is that? My fourth pick.
Yeah, so that was your
Number
third.
Three.
Third
That's
pick.
my three. Number 3, baby.
All right, let's see if you guys can guess Tylord's number 3. Not Wipeout.
What does it sound like?
It is vehicles though, but not Wipeout.
Can you play that again?
Twisted Metal.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Twisted Metal 2.
2.
There you go. Hey, and just to open it up here, it's also my number 3, Twisted Metal 2.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
But I'll let you go first. What does Twisted Metal 2 mean to you?
Well, this is around the time, like, I wasn't much into gaming at this time. Like, I was always into gaming, but certain periods of my life, I didn't have a lot of time for it. But this is one of the games I made time for. My buddies and I would play this all the time. We were older teenagers by then, or younger men. Yeah, we had to be in community college by then. My buddies and I, we would play this like after school or after judo practice or after the gym or whatever. We'd always look forward to come playing this game, and this was kind of mind blowing. Same thing we were talking about earlier with the co-op on Nintendo. Like, I had never played like a 3D game that has a co-op mode. You could play through the arcade mode. It sort of has like a fighting game vibe, like there's a tournament, but it's just a big battle royal. But you have like a 2-player split screen mode, and I didn't play GoldenEye at that time, so this is like the first time I'd ever played with my buddies like a co-op like adventure game. And you play through all the different countries or whatever. You pick out your characters, and they all have a little backstory. So it kind of reminded me of like a fighting game, but with cars. But I thought it was cool. Like you could race around and co-op with your buddy on this game. I think a lot of my friends played this. I think like 2 or 3 of us, we would go to each other's houses and play this game all the time. And we had little circuits, like we knew where to go on every level. It's been a long time since I played it now, but like there was like the rooftop one in New York, and there was one in like Paris. You could get up on the Eiffel Tower and blow it up, and then it would fall over and make a bridge on the nearby.
Yeah, that was like the 3rd stage, I think.
Yeah. I remember we had a blast with this thing, and at the time, like it looked so real. Like, oh man, games can't get any better than this. Like this is like we're doing a real like post-apocalyptic car battle in real life on the television. It looks so, but now you look at it and it looks like trash. But I mean, back in the music and everything, all the little power-ups, man. We like for young men that we should have been thinking about like pussy and stuff, but like this really captured our attention.
Yeah. I was in high school at the time, and dude, after high school, it was from like 3 to 5:30. We're playing Twisted Metal 2.
Right.
We're playing versus, and that's it. Who was your character that you would choose?
I liked what was he? I liked the little Corvette, the little Stingray, or what's his name? Spectre.
Oh, I fucking hate it when people pick that one.
I like him.
Because he would shoot missiles from across the map, and they would still hit you.
And it would go through stuff, right?
Yeah.
The little guy, the little motorcycle, Mr. Grimm. I like him, but he didn't have much armor.
Yeah.
I liked Warthog, the Humvee.
I respect the people that picked Mr. Grimm because his special was like would knock out half your health.
Yeah,
but if you got hit as Mr. Grimm, you were screwed too.
Yeah. And it was just straight on. you shot that skull, and it was hard to aim it right. But if you hit it, it would take off like half their hill.
Yeah, my guy was Outlaw. I liked Outlaw, the police car.
Oh yeah. That guy was good. He had the little electricity.
And I don't remember the name of the character of that car, but it was the purple hearse that would throw like ghost. It would throw like a ghost trap, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you play this one, Zomberry?
Yeah, and I'd pick the police car or just the ice cream man for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I don't remember the character's name.
Sweet Tooth.
You had to put in a code. You had to put in a code to be Sweet Tooth, and he was really powerful in that one. And you could even put in a code to be Minion, that big tank.
You know how?
Oh yeah.
He was really overpowered.
You know how there's like everybody has their game that they're like really good at and hard to beat at. I think that's the only game that I was like, I don't think anybody can beat me at this game. Like what? At that point,
right. Yeah.
I would suck at all the other games, but I was like, you can't come at me on Twisted Metal too.
I don't know if I was that great. I usually just squeak by the skin of my teeth.
Did you play this one, White?
I was chasing women and doing drugs at that point, man. I was having a blast with my life during the PS1 time, man.
You could have been at home playing Twisted Metal too.
It's funny though. I mean, that's probably my favorite video game collection to collect for.
Yeah, Twisted Metal 2.
PS1.
The PS1, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think like Tylord brought up, maybe it doesn't hold. I've been playing it recently on the PS3.
Okay, yeah. Because I don't mind stuff like that, but I know a lot of people don't like that jaggy look.
Yeah, the controls don't really hold up anymore because you would play with the D-pad.
Yeah.
Right? And then there was moves you would do with the D-pad, so it kind of like throws off you off. Yeah. It's
well,
not
like,
the best.
I mean, like, for example, Castlevania Lament of Innocence, that holds up completely for me. There's a bunch of games that hold up.
Yeah,
there's games that don't, but there's plenty of games that hold up.
What do you call it? I just played that the first time last year and beat it. Symphony of the Night. That game was like.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's what I meant. Symphony of the Night. I'm thinking of something else. Yeah.
That's never dated. That's like perfect.
Yeah, it didn't date at all.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah.
Twisted Metal. Yep. Love that game.
Right.
All right, we're gonna go. Yeah. Let's see if you can guess Zomberry's number 2.
It should be easy.
Okay. MK2.
Damn, man, this guy.
Yep.
You go on a game show. Guess that theme song.
Yeah. My second one is Mortal Kombat 2, specifically the Genesis version.
Yeah.
It was just Mortal Kombat was always a better version on the Sega, mostly for the blood, but also for the sound. Sound effects on the Genesis were so much better than on the Nintendo.
It sounds closer to the arcade sounds.
Yeah. We played this. This was probably the second most popular fighting game that we played, because we probably played Street Fighter a lot more, or Street Fighter 2, but I preferred this one because there was less room for just cheating.
Sweeping the leg?
You can do that sweeping. It's pretty cheap. Or the jump kick.
Yeah. So like my buddy Philip and I, we'd play a lot of Mortal Kombat. And we played a lot of the first one, but then the part 2 came out and it was just like, so many more characters. And
who was your guy though on Mortal Kombat 2?
I played Liu Kang a lot. Probably Liu Kang or Reptile, maybe.
Did you guys all beat that game?
Oh, it was hard. I beat it, but it took me forever to beat that thing.
I don't know if I ever beat it. I used to just like it. Was this the one that introduced friendships and like babality and all that?
Yeah. And you'd have to go find lists, somewhere.
This is when you would write them down on a piece of paper. You wouldn't just Google it. You would write it down on a piece of paper. I got the babality.
A lot of the games now, if you press pause, it's on the command list. Like there was nothing like that.
I think there was in one of the Nintendo Powers. I believe they came out with a move list.
Yeah.
And you could do a lot of those.
What was all of the alities? There was babality, there was fatality. What was the other ones? There was more than that.
Animality.
Friendship.
Friendship.
3,
right?
Wasn't there another one though?
There was friendship.
there was brutality.
No, Alities, only Alities.
Yeah, there was brutality. There was animality. There was
maybe it was Babality I'm thinking about. And what I'm trying to say is there's a really good movie called Bully. I don't know if you guys have ever watched it.
Nope.
But the kids go to the arcade, and the one kid, and they're high off of they're on I want to say they were on acid, and they're playing that game in the arcade. And the one guy is just going crazy saying, Babality, I did a Babality on you. He's going insane over it, man. It's actually a true story. It was about some murders that happened in the Everglades with some kids. Wow. If you guys have not seen that movie, you need to see it. But if you guys have seen the movie Kids, that Stanley Clark movie, Kids.
No, never seen it.
It's a really good movie. He also directed Bully.
Okay.
But speaking of, I remember the hype when you would hit like a new Babality.
Oh yeah, there was hype
that you had never seen, but someone you had to do it. Like,
that guy was jumping up and down, man. He was like, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to him.
Yeah, because a lot of those button combinations, like you would never guess some of them. You had to get them from somewhere because it's 5 different moves you have to do in order to get it right. And then it wouldn't work every time either.
Yep. You had to have a distance, close, far away one. Yeah.
That's why I didn't like fighters. I think I have a bad memory. I could never remember the button combinations, so I would just button mash.
Yeah. A lot of them are the same.
Yeah. That reminds me of Mortal Kombat Part 1 on I think it was Super Nintendo. I mashed all the buttons at the end. And I did that Raiden fatality where he zaps the guy's head. And it blows. And my friend got so mad he tried to hit me with the controller because I did the fatality on him, even though I just mashed all the buttons.
Yeah, I think my favorite character on that one would be Sub-Zero or Raiden. But
based on Bloodsport, right? Those Mortal Kombat games?
Yeah, I think it was originally they wanted to get Van Damme in it and do something like some sort of tribute to Bloodsport, but he backed out of it to do a Street Fighter or something. I don't know the exact story, but he ended up being in the Street Fighter movie, and then that Johnny Cage is sort of based on Van Damme. He has the red sash and the biker shorts, just like Van Damme and Bloodsport.
All right, let's see if you guys can guess. Now we're gonna go to White's number 2. Let's see if you can guess his number 2.
Oh shit!
Okay.
I bet Zomberry can guess it.
Yeah, same one. Huh?
What is it, Zomberry? I mean, Tylord.
Contra.
No, you should let Zomberry guess it.
I saw Tylord.
I can't believe Zomberry didn't know that. Didn't Zomberry do this game?
Yeah, it's hard to jump in sometimes when the multiple people are talking.
Tylord, stop overpowering the conversation.
I'm gonna go take a leak. You guys talk about Contra. Tell the people why Contra's your number 2, White.
All right, well, I'll do that. All right, so just to let you guys know, this dropped in the arcades in 1987. I totally remember dumping so many quarters in this game with my friend Javier. There was an arcade place called Super Track that was right next to our what was it called? Anyway, it was the baseball park that we played at. And after practice, we'd walk to Super Track, and it was one of the biggest arcades in the area. And we used to play that game all the time. This is one of the only games, most certainly for that generation, or possibly most generations, that I feel like the home game was better than the arcade.
Right.
Like literally. And I cannot remember too many games that you can say that for. Let me see. I played most co-op on the NES version. We put countless hours into this game. We used to do sleepovers playing this game. I always remember the spread shot being the most powerful 2D weapon I've ever seen in any 2D game on the NES, man. The spread weapon is awesome. Another really cool thing about Contra was this was the first game you could use the Konami code. We talked about that earlier. This was one of those games where you could totally screw up the other player by lagging back or moving too forward. Like you would get people killed all the time if you didn't stay at a certain pace with each other. One of the coolest things about this game was this was inspired by the coolest movies at the time: Rambo, Predator, Aliens. Like all the backgrounds looked like Alien. And if I remember correctly, I read an article that the actual cover art of the NES Contra was still shots of Arnold Schwarzenegger on Predator.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Both characters, not just one. Both characters They
the other guy
different color. Yeah, they just put different color hair on one of them.
Okay.
But it was both still shots from Predator.
Oh, I thought he had long hair like
that
like
makes sense because I'm seeing the cover in my head, and you see the blonde guy holding the gun.
Yeah, if you look at it, I actually no, I didn't read an article. I watched a YouTube video. The guy was explaining it.
Yeah, it looks just like the Predator or Commando, one of those.
Now, on my Mr. Tight White YouTube channel, I actually hosted a Contra challenge years back with different YouTubers where it was an honor system. You had to record yourself playing Contra, and you had to see if you can get to Contra with one man and beat the whole game.
Wow.
So one of the guys actually beat the whole game. So again, it was the honor system. So I don't know if he tried 100 times.
Yeah.
I tried one time. I got to like the second level or whatever. But after that happened, I got totally addicted into. There's something called pacifier run-throughs where you kill nobody.
Oh, right. Those are
you try to kill nobody. So on Contra, that is impossible. But you can actually, I got so addicted to this. You could actually, on the first level, you could actually go through without killing anybody directly. If something exploded next to them, that's not your fault. That's still am I using the right word? Pacifier?
Yeah, pacifist run.
Pacifist. What? Say it again.
Pacifist.
Pacifist run.
It was the Gandhi run.
Yes, a pacifist run. So on the first level, you could do that, and then there's like this. If you guys, I'm sure you guys remember Contra. So, well, maybe not you, Mario, but the rest of the guys. There's like a mini level where you're facing 3D, and that level right there, you can actually, you don't have to kill anybody directly. You can blow up those little sensors on the wall, and that will kill people. So you can literally pacifist, not direct kill anybody through that. So then I got to the third level on my stream, on my challenge, and I died on that level. And I think you can do that without it. But I got so addicted to doing that, man. It's so fun. But yeah, I mean, amazing game. Just some facts on this game. The game director, programmer of the game, I'm going to butcher this, Shigeharu Umazaki, went on to do Gradius 2, Blades of Steel, Super Contra, Life Force, and produced or executive produced many other games on future consoles like Castlevania Curse of Darkness. I'm sure Steve will like that. On the PS2, Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow on the DS, just to name a few. So, I mean, this guy's did a lot of good work. What else? This was one of the games that never made that transition into the 3D world. I always wanted to play an FPS Contra game. Even Contra Shattered Soldier was mainly a 2D game, although they teased you with some 3D elements.
Hey, can you imagine if there was a 3D Contra game, kind of like in the same vein of Gears of War, but it had that 80s like look, like the Alien Predator? That would be so sick.
Either a third person or a first person game. They just never did it. They never made that jump, and it really upsets me because I love Contra. I mentioned it already. I feel like PS1 ruined the Contra series. The PS1 games were not good.
I thought those weren't 3D, the PlayStation ones.
No, there's 2D with 3D elements. Even the Super Nintendo had 3D elements, but they just never jumped into 3D completely. They just spliced in some 3D into it.
A lot of people don't like it when it moves from 2 to 3D. Like, I remember all those Castlevania games got a lot of hate, but they're actually really good.
They're good.
Yeah.
Steve saw me beat Castlevania Lament of Innocence on the PS2, and I would love to. And I'm probably going to do it. I'm going to stream it on one of my channels coming up. I'm going to do the Curse of Darkness as well. I'm excited about doing that.
The way you talked about this game, White, I would have thought this would be like your number one. So I can't wait to hear what your number one is.
I mean, as far as co-op is concerned, man, this was a phenomenal co-op, man. I mean, and like I said, I mean, to be as good or better than the arcade from, the NES console that did not have the power to do something like that. It's just, it really says a lot about the programmers and the people that worked on that game.
So is the, because I think I've seen the arcade version on the Switch or one of the compilations. Is the arcade one just shit? Not as good?
No,
as
it's really good. I'm just saying the NES held its ground with it, or held its it held up to it very well. Now the graphics are not going to be as good, but there was an extra level in the NES one. There was extra power-ups in the NES one. There was a different boss. They changed the boss up on one of the, they changed it from like this almost like a sensor on a wall into an alien creature. So they did a lot of cool stuff with the NES version.
Wasn't the arcade version like the format like a cell phone on its upright? Like it had a weird format like a shooter.
You know what? I don't remember it that way, but the research that I did today, everyone's saying that it was. So I guess it was.
Okay.
So it was like it was like
they have it at
it was like Galaga style,
top down.
All right. Well, that was White's number 2. I have a feeling neither Zomberry or White are gonna guess Tylord's.
This is number 2.
Sounds like it could be a shooter, a space shooter.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna Zomberry or White are gonna get this one, Tylord.
With that comment, I'm gonna guess it's a wrestling game.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, have you had any wrestling games in your top 5?
He hasn't.
This is his first one.
This is his first one.
It's a wrestling game too, because like I'm shocked that you haven't had a wrestling game.
Is it Fire Pro Wrestling?
No. But let him know about this game, Tylord, because I love this game too.
So this game never came out on consoles anywhere. I wish it would have. I don't think it ever will come out on any compilations. It's the WWF WrestleFest, the arcade game. It was one of those big 4-player cabinets. I don't know if you guys remember it.
You could pick Hulk Hogan, Warrior, Sergeant Slaughter.
Man, all the best guys. It was early 90s. And there was like nothing like that on Nintendo. This made the Nintendo games look like trash. Even the Super Nintendo games were big, giant, cartoony characters, and there was like 10 of them in the ring at once. And you could do co-op. This is back then when my friends and I, we were younger, then we'd walk to the arcade and play this thing. And even if we didn't have enough money, we would like watch other people play it. And you could just jump in the Royal Rumbles. The Royal Rumble would be going on all the time, and people would be packed up around this thing. Every time you get thrown out of the Royal Rumble, you could put another quarter in, and you could bring in another wrestler. And then there was also a co-op tag team mode, or you could do a tag team versus. And Legion of Doom was the main boss. You couldn't be Legion of Doom in the game, but they were the final boss in the tag team mode. So they were like, it was so cool. Well, just like the graphics and the presentation, and everyone was so hyped about this. I don't know about where you were, but like this was a really popular game in my town when I was a youngster. Hogan, Warrior, all those guys, like those are the guys on TV. Like we loved wrestling at that time when we were kids, and all those wrestlers on TV. We even would go to Arco Arena and watch them. And see all those guys on the arcade. It was so cool.
Yeah, and this this is one of my all-time favorite wrestling games. But this is one it didn't make my list. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Because I played this one alone because I was kind of a stickler for how people played with me in the tag team. If you didn't know how to play this game, I didn't want to play with you.
Oh, right.
I would play alone. So
I don't even think there is a strategy for this game, because I got emulators of it since then. I have it on my Pi, and sometimes you can win a grapple without even tapping. I thought like it had to do with button mashing, but I think it's just like the timing of how you grapple. Like I don't really understand the.
So it's a quarter muncher. It was an arcade game, so there was times where no matter how fast you mash the button, you were gonna lose the grapple.
Yeah. So and they would throw a punch, like if you got 2 punches in, you would win the grapple.
Yeah, but which mode did you play the most? Because there was a tag team and Royal Rumble.
Probably Royal Rumble, probably. But I did like the tag team because it was just like similar to Superstars, the previous arcade game.
And who was your team? Who would you pick as your tag team?
I usually got Jake the Snake and the $1 Million Man.
The gluten-free guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
I almost watched that documentary. I think that I'm not sure, but there's like a newer documentary on streaming services now. I'm thinking it's probably that one.
So that's where he's cleaned up for good, because he always has these things where I cleaned up, but then he gets fucked up again.
It's like a road to recovery documentary.
Okay. But now he's been clean for a while now.
Okay.
Yeah, DDP kind of helped him, right?
Yeah.
This is I want to say this is the one I was talking about. I think you guys are wrong.
So, yeah, Tyler.
That one's really good.
Mr. White, because this is an audio podcast. Mr. White showing pro wrestling on the NES as when you were talking about the only wrestling game you've played.
I'm going to play this one and I'll let you know, but I think this is the one you could scroll through the moves. But
no, I think that's tag team, but that's a darn good one right there.
You could be right.
Yeah,
that's the one that had like Starman.
Yeah, and the Amazon
Starman. Yeah, you know what? I got nostalgic memories. If I'm wrong about that, I like that game as well.
Yeah, it's got the Amazon and
yeah. Oh yeah.
But there's like I can't remember all the wrestlers, but they had some good little characters, and they're kind of reminding me of like Mike Tyson's Punch Out, like all the weird little characters.
Yeah, we didn't have a WrestleFest at any of our arcades.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I've
Because I know a lot of people didn't know about it, but over here, like that was popular.
Yeah, I never heard of that game.
And I play if I go up there to Sacramento, we're gonna have to get a WrestleFest match, Tyler.
Oh, no kidding. I don't know if that arcade has it. I think it might have Superstars.
But
I have it on my Pi if you want to play.
But you gotta step up your tag team game, because I'm picky.
Or he won't play with you.
I'm picky on WrestleFest. I would play with myself because I knew when to tag in, when to get the hot tag in.
They opened up a retro arcade by my house, or pretty close to where I live at. That's like this massive warehouse, like the biggest warehouse you've ever seen. It's just full of friggin' arcade, old school arcade. So many pinball machines, all the old school, it's fighters and everything you can imagine. There's like fluorescent lights everywhere, and it's like they're playing 80s music, and it's like, wow, it's a trip, bro.
That's heaven right there. I want to go. I really want to come visit you now.
Yeah, whenever you come down, that's the first place we're going to go.
As you were saying that, is like, why haven't I been there?
We'll spend a day over there, and we'll order. I was about to say we're going to order pizza there because they have like a section that you can eat at, and they have the pizza place that you can that'll deliver there. But I'm going to have to find gluten-free, so I don't know if that's going to work.
So about 8 to 10 years ago, I went to Chicago for work, and up there they have the Galloping Ghost arcade. It's probably one of the more famous retro arcades in the U.S. And they have theirs is a cover charge. I think it's like $15 at the time, $15 bucks.
That's how ours is.
And it's all free. You just play whatever you want to.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
It's all free play after you pay. Wow. And then you could also sign up. It's cheaper to sign up, and you can like pay like a monthly fee and just go there once a month, twice a month, or whatever. And you can save some money, man. It's really cool.
Do they have beer?
We did this. I took my nephews up there, and we just start from like one end and play every single game for a certain amount of time in the whole arcade.
Do they have beer?
No. Guess what? It's BYOB.
What?
Oh, okay.
It's BYOB.
What the?
Really?
All right, I gotta go. I gotta go there.
Come on down, man. I'm telling you, man.
I'm gonna have to tell my
road
wife.
Trip.
We got to stop by, visit Mr. White, play some arcades.
We'll definitely go there, man. We'll bring a cooler of beer.
Yeah, so that was Tylord's number 2. Next, we're gonna go to my number 2. I think White might know this one.
Why the F would I know this?
You're the rap guy.
Sounds like something MC Hammer would do.
Is that too short?
Oh, wait. Are you talking about NBA Street?
No, close. This is NBA Hang Time.
Ah, okay.
So specifically, this is
Oh.
the NBA Hang Time on the Nintendo 64. But to me, this is way better than NBA Jam, because this one you could do spin moves, you could throw alley oops, you could do fadeaway jumpers, and NBA Jam you couldn't do any of that.
Yeah.
So it's like the same developers or
same. It's Midway.
Okay.
But this one was more. It added a little bit more stuff you could do. So I used to play this all the time. Summer of 94, 95, over my house. Come over with your controllers. We're gonna play NBA Hang Time 2-on-2, and it was always me and my friend Billy versus my friend Angel and Marlon. And this was one where there was almost gonna be a fight, because I don't know if you remember an NBA Jam, and in this game you can push people. If you held the turbo button and steal, you could shove the guy and take the ball from him.
So it has like the same mechanics as NBA Jam.
Yeah, it just had a little bit like extra stuff you could do. So when we would play at my house, I think we played this game for like 30 days straight on a vacation, and my friend Angel that was on the other team was like, all right, we're gonna play this game, but no pushing. Like, you can strip the steal, but no turbo and steal and push. So we say, okay. And like clockwork, my teammate Billy, because he's kind of like a stickler, if we were down 2 points with 10 seconds left, he would push Angel and steal the ball, and then we would hit a 3 and win.
I like how when we're younger and playing co-op or competitive games, we throw in all these other house rules, like only throwing straight pitch.
Yeah. That's what it reminded me. Straight pitch rules, no fucking curve balls or slow balls, and
no shoving my player and stealing the ball.
I remember like clockwork, my friend Billy, because he was Billy. He's like, we're down 2 points. I'm gonna shove you so we can win the game. And I remember my friend Angel standing up and standing over him, because we were, sitting Indian style on the carpet in front of the TV. And I was like, oh shit, I think Angel's about to kick my friend's ass. I kind of like try to, hey, and it was one of those things where we're like, well, he did say don't shove him, so like you kind of have it coming if he kicks your ass. Yeah, but that's I don't know if any of you, it doesn't sound like any of you played NBA.
No, never played
Hang
Time.
I never played anything. I didn't play
a lot of Jam
64 like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty. Was that an arcade cabinet as well?
Yep. Arcade.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I played it.
Nintendo 64, and I think it was on everything: Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, PlayStation.
Oh,
I'm not an N64 guy though. I kind of got a problem with N64, but
was it a 2D game, or was it like polygonal?
2D with like, it looked like fake polygonal, but it was 2D. Yeah.
Okay.
But I could have easily put NBA Jam in my top 5, and I would have definitely went with the arcade cabinet. The arcade cabinet was just, man, the buzz around that. Everybody was playing that.
You gotta play NBA Hang Time.
I have. I'm sure I have.
You can throw alley-oop. You can do a lot more in this one.
Yeah, you can throw alley-oops in NBA Jam.
No,
for sure.
You can't.
No.
You can't.
I don't know about that.
You can't.
Maybe in the newer one.
I'm gonna have to check your facts on that one, because
it was pass and shoot, man. That's all you had.
The Sega Genesis had a good port of that NBA Jam that I really
will
enjoyed.
bet you a shot of the choosing whatever. If you win, you get to choose my shot. If I win, I get to choose your shot. I bet.
I got that on the Sega Genesis, and I also have it on the Sega Saturn. The Sega Saturn had a pretty good port of the NBA Jam.
You can't throw alley-oops in NBA Jam or NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Either way.
I'm going to check as soon as this podcast ends.
Yeah. All right. So that was my number 2. We're going to go back to...
I would like to say, though, we've gone through everybody's 4 for everyone, and we've only had 2 games that have crossed over so far.
That's pretty cool.
Contra and Twisted Metal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of the same when we do horror movies as well.
Yeah. We all have
we're all over the place.
Usually the horror movies, White's pissed off that we like Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh God! Don't even start that conversation. I got the feeling the Nightmare on Elm Street, the next podcast we do is going to be kind of the same.
Do you have
some weird ones in that one as well?
A date for that the podcast stream yet or no?
Well, I mean, Zomberry's kind of holding us up. I think we had the 31st was the last day we are going to do, but now he's saying he's coming back on the 31st. So let's do the weekend after the 31st. How about that?
I'm good. Friday.
I'm there.
Friday or Saturday. I'm down for either day.
And then anyone listening to this podcast can join in on that stream.
Hell yeah.
That'll be awesome. Mr. Tight White, MR TIGHT We're going to be ranking all the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
Yeah, and speaking of that, when I started this podcast a couple months ago, I literally thought it was going to be me listening to my own podcast, but like,
man.
Like I'm surprised, well, obviously like Tylord has listened to it. I've had like my godson listens to it, but then I looked at the stats and it shows me like what countries are listening to the podcast.
Yeah, that's always cool.
Yeah, so like shout out to obviously the United States, but I got downloads in France, Mexico, Italy, Belgium, Slovakia, Russia, Peru, Japan, India, Poland, Germany.
Well, shout out to all those countries, man.
The Ukraine. Shout out to all of you guys for giving the podcast a chance. But like Mr. Tightwhite said, look for him on YouTube, Mr. Tightwhite. We once a month do live streams and talk about our we pretty much rank like series of horror movies, and we just talk horror movies and have beers. It's a good time.
Yeah, we'll rank Nightmare on Elm Street next, and then I'll do a poll on my YouTube channel, give them some options of what to pick for the next one, and then we'll probably, before we do the next one, I think we should go on with the one that I was telling that I know Steve's gonna love, and go ahead and do a rate and review series, kind of change it up a little bit, and start with the first film and rate and review the Jaws series. That'll be fun.
I think Tylord likes those movies a little bit, right?
Just a little bit.
All right. So we're now down to the nitty gritty. These are our number ones. Our favorite retro video games to play with our friends.
You better have a drum roll sound.
I think the only drum I have is this one.
Oh,
that'll do.
That's weak sauce.
So we're gonna play. Let's see if you guys can guess Zomberry's number one favorite retro game to play with his friends.
Yeah.
007?
GoldenEye.
That's right. 007 GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64.
And I wouldn't be surprised if anybody else on here had that as their number one.
I didn't, but I played the hell out of it.
It's all about your age and stuff. Like some people missed out on it.
Yeah.
So tell us about this game, Zomberry. Why is this your number one?
So this was our most played N64 game when the N64 came out. We'll play Mario World. We played Mario Kart a couple of times, but GoldenEye was the game that we would battle each other at, and there were so many different modes and settings you can choose. And we talked earlier about White playing you only play straight pitch, or Mario you can't shove players. But in this game you could actually choose only this way or only that way, and it made it so much better. There were so many customizations you could do in playing a game, and death matches. And
this is a strange one for me because I kind of missed out on that era. I really missed out on it.
With me, like, I'm kind of embarrassed to say because I'm the Bond fanatic. But I didn't spend a lot of time on that game. Like, I appreciate it immensely, but like that's like around that time, that N64 time, I didn't spend a lot of time on the N64. But man, that was the first time the 4 screens.
Yeah,
I totally respect it. Like you have to respect it no matter what.
Yeah.
If you missed it or not. But like if you try to go back to it now, you could play like localization, right? You could play with just like people in the same room, right? On that game.
Yeah, and it was a very controversial game when you're playing split screen like that, because that was one of those where you try to hide and it'd be like, "Don't look at my screen."
Yeah,
you know, you'd try to tape the TV off like in half so the other half couldn't see it. And
you know, the funniest thing about what you just said was I used to have this thing on my Mr. Sight White channel called the Xbox Club where we'd live stream Call of Duty games. But it's like I'm live streaming my screen to everybody that's playing the game against me. So all they have to do is look at the YouTube feed to find out where I'm at.
So no camping.
Hilarious.
No camping for White.
No.
Yeah. So our favorite way to play, or my favorite way to play that we played a lot was proximity mines only.
Oh, I love the proximity mines.
So it would just be a lot of running around, hoping that you didn't just get blown up.
There was the golden gun too, right? The golden.
Yeah, there's the golden guns, one shot, one kill. You know, and it was not. You could play a lot of different characters in this, so you know you didn't just have to be random Bond and no-name people. However, one of my favorite characters to play was helicopter pilot. I just thought he looked cool.
Wasn't there a character that was super short, so people would have picked that one because you had a smaller hitbox? Or am I
little Odd Job. Yeah, Odd Job was short in there. The guy with the hat.
Yeah.
Did they ever try to do a reboot of that series, like on
they did.
today's
They
consoles?
did.
They had GoldenEye Rogue Agents on PlayStation 2, and then there was
They got one on Wii.
Yeah, the remake on Wii. It's called Reloaded.
Yeah.
But you know,
but they were like different games. I'm talking about doing like a remake of. I'm talking about an actual remake where you can play online and just do that game again with better graphics.
It was supposed to come out on Xbox Live, but it never came to
on the 360, right, Tylord?
Yeah. Oh, that would have been cool, right?
Yeah.
And it got canceled. It got canceled for some reason.
It did. The Perfect Dark came out on the arcade, but that one never did.
Yeah, GoldenEye. It's kind of one of those where I think now people are like, how could you have played that? It's like not good, but at the time, man, that shit was fun.
Yeah, it definitely didn't age well because of the graphics.
Yeah, but I mean, for what it is, it's runs smooth and it's a first-person shooter. I think it was originally meant to be an on-rails shooter, but like the last minute, the developers made it into a FPS co-op, and like that's some talent right there. Talking about good developers, like to make that game.
I mean, it was a revolutionary game without a doubt. I mean,
it was fun to sit around.
Nothing like it before it, nothing like it after. I mean, it was incredible. I respect it totally.
It was fun to play 4-player, and then when one person gets killed and they're out, they just put the controller down and walk away. Kind of like Last Man Standing.
Yeah.
What was the year limit, Mario, that we were going with this?
99.
99. See, I completely screwed up and got my. I screwed up my list completely.
I was gonna say
I for whatever reason, I don't know. There was like a miscommunication. I felt like I had to choose all NES games.
Because just to be transparent, you chose all NES games.
Yeah. So
I was just like, man, he really likes the NES.
If I would have known that, I would have definitely had. I mean, it's my own fault because everybody else got it and I didn't get it. But I'm not mad about my choices. My choices are so nostalgic to me and so awesome that I love to talk about them. But Halo came out before 99, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
no, Halo was 2000, I think.
Oh well, okay. So so that I would, if that came out before, then I would have picked
Halo was like 2000, 2001, around there, right?
Okay, so it missed it barely. Okay, all right.
That's a good.
So
segue
now I feel
into
better.
Your
I feel better. Huh?
That's a good segue into your number one next.
Yeah, let's see if you can guess White's number one.
Very surprised this is not in anybody's top 5, by the way. Maybe you guys are not as sporty as me. Hint.
Tecmo.
We shouldn't give that to him.
It's not Tecmo Bowl or Super
close.
Super Tecmo Bowl.
Oh,
Yeah.
Super.
I don't know if we
Zomberry
give
got
that to
it.
him either. I don't know if we give that to him either.
Oh
You
yeah.
gotta say it in the correct order.
So what is it? What is it, White? What's your number one?
Tecmo Super Bowl.
Tecmo Super Bowl.
Officially. All right, so I could have easily put OG Tecmo Bowl as my first, but this was Tecmo Bowl on steroids, man. I mean, holy shit. It had expanded teams, it had expanded rosters, it had stat tracking, expanded playbooks. You could change the player's position. You could have like Jerry Rice of the 49ers as your punt returner. You couldn't do anything like that on the first one. Another new edition of this game had player injuries, and you could fumble the ball. In the first Tecmo Bowl, I'm assuming you guys have played the original Tecmo Bowl, right?
Yeah.
No.
And you like Bo Jackson? You've done the whole Bo Jackson thing and everything? Or no?
I never played Tecmo Bowl or
the Raiders were unstoppable.
I just know that
Bo Jackson.
I just know that Bo Jackson,
not the Raiders. Bo Jackson was unstoppable.
But it was a cheat, right? Like, cause you couldn't stop him.
Well, no, it wasn't that. It's just that Bo Jackson was super fast and he was super strong and he was just the best running back in the game. But everybody knows the original Tecmo Bowl from Bo Jackson because he was like the most impressive player in the game. OG Tecmo Bowl was the only one that had an official license from the NFL Players Association. First game of its type. Tecmo Bowl or Tecmo Super Bowl had players and the team license as well. It had both of them. Wow. So that was like awesome at the time. Yeah, you're playing with real players. You're playing on real teams. This came out in 1991 and I got it for Christmas the next year. Or no, I'm sorry. I think it came out in I'm not sure if this was an arcade. I think this was a direct console port or a direct console game. Yeah, I don't think this ever came out in the arcade. So it came out on the NES in 1991. I got it for Christmas. Just like OG Tecmo Bowl, me and my friends played the hell out of this game. So my best friend at the time was Trevor. We played this game fucking night and day. Like, if you lost this game, it was so gut-wrenching. Like, literally, like, you felt like you were a fucking piece of shit. Like, it was the world to us. Like, you don't even understand. Like, the competition was so friggin' high in this game. I always remember in the first game. So for me, it was easy. In Tecmo Bowl, San Francisco 49ers was my team. In Tecmo Super Bowl, the 49ers were my team. His team was the Chicago Bears on the first one. And Walter Payton. Walter Payton was an awesome running back in that game.
Sweetness?
He loved Walter Payton.
Was that Sweetness, Gary?
Yeah. Payton? Oh, shoot. I'm sorry.
Remember, he was at WrestleMania. You guys talk
about
that's the only reason I know Sweetness Walter Payton, because he came out with Razor Ramon at SummerSlam. That's the only reason I know about it. He walked Razor Ramon to the ring to wrestle Shawn Michaels for the Intercontinental title, I think. Where did White? He went to grab the game?
No, he went to go let the dogs in or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never played any of these sports games.
Is that little mini Nintendo Mini? Does it have Super Tecmo Bowl or just regular Tecmo Bowl?
All right, sorry about that. What's the question again, Steve?
Does that little mini Nintendo that came out a couple years ago, does that have Super Tecmo Bowl or just regular Tecmo Bowl?
Oh, I'm not into those mini things. I don't mess with that stuff. So I'm not sure on that. But yeah, he would get the Chicago Bears against the 49ers. That was our rivalry right there. But on the Tecmo Super Bowl, he would get the New York Giants, who had why am I forgetting the guy's name now? Zomberry will know. The guy who got involved in cocaine later on in his life. The best defensive player, Lawrence Taylor.
Oh,
Lawrence Taylor was a motherfucker.
Guy.
He wrestled Bam Bam Bigelow.
He was so good in that in Tecmo Super Bowl. So he would get him every time. But like we would gamble baseball cards. We would gamble our allowance on the games. Like, you do not understand. Like we would do stuff like, you have to call me the Tecmo Bowl master the rest of the day, like the rest of the week at school, and we would follow through with that shit. Like, we would literally do that stuff.
So this was life and death shit as a kid.
It was life and death, man. This is the greatest. people say this is the greatest sports game of all time. Some people say this is the greatest video game of all time. Like this, I don't like if you guys don't know about this game, like I don't know what the hell's going on. I would always get Ronnie Lott. He was the free safety, and that was my defender, man. Ronnie Lott was my man. I would change. So we talked about this in one of my streams, or actually I put this on one of my videos and stuff. So Twin Galaxies is the website that keeps track of all world records in video gaming. They're the number one. They're the one that keeps track of everything. So many years ago, like 10 years ago or whatever, I started having this dream to have the Tecmo Super Bowl record for the most points scored in a game. So I used to start recording my video games with a damn camcorder aimed at the TV screen and trying to get the record. And one day I scored 105 points to 0 in Tecmo Bowl. And for whatever reason, Twin Galaxies does not have the record on their website. I do not know why, but the research that I've done, I've not seen to score higher than that. So quite possibly, I could be the greatest Tecmo Super Bowl player of all time.
What happened?
I could have a record.
You showed us the recording, I think, on a video. You were like missing the first half, or what happened?
Something happened. It got erased or something, but I had a screenshot or actual live video of the final score, which was 105 to 0. So I might not have it. I might have it. Who knows? But I am a badass Super Tecmo player. I'm telling you right now.
Is this a legit, or is this a Billy Mitchell situation? Were you playing this on emulation?
Legit, man. This is no Billy Mitchell stuff. So I'm glad you said that. So now that we have streaming capabilities and stuff, I feel like it's only necessary for me to stream on my channel a world record.
Do it.
So that's coming up soon with Mr. Tight White's channel.
Yeah, do it.
Or maybe I'll do it on my non-essential gaming channel. But anyway, yeah, man. Wow. I mean, never had a competition level with anyone in my life as big as that with my friend Trevor, man. I mean, and Trevor was like a game. So that was a Tecmo game, right? Yeah, it was a Tecmo game. So track and field was the same. So Trevor was like a short black dude, and he was like, we used to go to this 7-Eleven that was close to my house and play track and field arcade cabinet. And he had these short fingers, man, and he used to press the button so fast. He used to tear me up at track and field. He used to drive me crazy. I could never beat this guy at track and field. So when we played Tecmo Bowl, I don't know if you guys remember. Apparently you don't, because y'all ain't big fans of it, I guess. Whenever someone would grab you, if you button mash super quick, and he was the fastest I've ever seen in my life, you could shake people off of you and then run forward. And he was really good at that stuff, man. But
would he do the double finger or just the index finger?
I'm not sure how he did it, man, but he was quick with those fingers, man. And I had these long ass fingers and shit, man. And I was
popular with the ladies.
But yeah, man. Hey,
I finally got to play that sound effect.
So the way it's set up in Tecmo Super Bowl is John Taylor as at the top. So one of the best receiver duos in the history of the NFL, John Taylor, Jerry Rice. I would rotate them because you could rotate them now. So now I had Jerry Rice at the top of the screen, and I would throw passes to Jerry Rice, 80-yard bombs, 75-yard bombs. I mean, it was like,
in the first Tecmo Bowl though, wasn't it Roger Craig and Jerry Rice?
No, you're thinking of the running back. Roger Craig's the running back.
Okay.
Yeah. John Taylor was not the receiver in the first one though. It was a different receiver.
I'm trying to think of who that was.
Something Wilson.
Because I'd play the Niners too in the first one.
Yeah, I played it the other day, and I was like, oh, Wilson. Yeah, Steve Wilson. I think it was Steve Wilson. Yeah, because I wanted to kind of refresh my memory with these games.
You know, a funny thing on the first one, I wouldn't say always. For defense, I would pick the Jets sometimes, and if the opponent scores an extra point, if you would choose the bottom guy on the extra point, you could block every extra point by the opponent.
There you go. And then also, like, my strategy in that game is you could do onside kicks, but the onside kicks were like, they were very hit and miss whether you're going to get the onside kick or not. But if you got lucky in a game and got like 6 onside kicks, you got the ball immediately and could score with Jerry Rice. And the other thing was, I think it was the Dolphins. The Dolphins had that. I can't remember what it's called. Not run and shoot offense, but you know how they would give the ball to the running back, and the running back would throw it back to the quarterback.
Yeah, like
and
a
the quarterback would,
pass.
Yeah, the quarterback would be way back in the end zone, so you could just sack his ass and then get the ball right back and score. So yeah, there's all kinds of strategies.
So on Tecmo Super Bowl, was it also like on the original Tecmo Bowl? You know, you had the 4 plays to choose from.
Double the plays.
Yeah, and there was always like a rock paper scissors type of game, because one defensive play would always beat another offensive play. You know, the guys would always come through like a blitz.
Well, no, I mean, it's just simple as this. If you selected the same play that they selected, then it was over with. Everyone blitzed and tackled your ass. So that's what it was. Yeah, if you selected the play that they did. And on Tecmo Bowl, the original, like you said, there was only 4 plays. So it was so easy to select their play. And there was that whole type of that whole situation.
Like you're in the
same room. You're in the same room with the guy. You're sitting on the same couch. Yeah. So all you're doing is looking over at his thing and going, "Okay, I got your play." So it was like you had to like be strategic about that, man.
Hey,
they doubled or tripled the plays in Tecmo Super Bowl.
Talk about that, because I think that's a lost thing. Like, don't look at my controller. Like holding the controller up to your chest.
Yeah, because all the plays were like up in A or down in B.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that's how it was. So in the first one, you had a much more of a shot at guessing their play, but it got much harder on the second one. But and you know, the funny thing about it, I mean, as much and by the way, let me just mention this about this series. They still have online leagues right now playing these games.
Where do you play? Where do you play them?
They update the players every year.
Oh, no. Where do you play them?
Players. I can't tell you, but I'm just telling you, it's out there. I researched it. There's definitely websites that do it. And
you gotta get in on that league.
I should actually get in on that league. Because I would love to do it, man.
Yeah. That is a testament to how good that game is that people are still doing that.
Oh, they fucking love it. Yeah. I don't know if we can cuss on here, but
hey, let me bring that up. When I first started this podcast, I checked off yes on explicit content, knowing that someday I would have Mr. Tightweight on this podcast.
Hey, I think I've been pretty good tonight. I haven't cussed a lot. I've held back a lot of cussing.
People that have heard the first few episodes are gonna be like, "What the fuck?" But this is why I checked it off, because I knew we were gonna curse a lot on here.
But yeah, man. I think I mentioned earlier, but man, it was cool, man, because you could get injured now. Players could get hurt. Players fumbled the ball. In the first game in Tecmo Bowl, I hate to talk about this too much, but the first game, if you were on the receiver as a defensive player, if you were there, it was an automatic interception. But in this game, Jerry Rice is so good, you can be on him and he'll friggin' dive and catch the ball, or he'll jump up in the So this game, you could jump up in the air and catch balls. Like the cinematics was just insane in Tecmo Super Bowl, man.
Was this one? Because I have it. Because I sell on eBay, like, you know, all you guys do. I don't. Tylord, you don't sell on eBay, right?
Well, I mostly just do OfferUp.
Yeah, but I know Zomberry and Mr. Tightwhite do. I've seen it for the Sega Genesis. Not as good.
Well, I was going to mention that my love for it does not extend past those first 2 games. I never, for whatever reason, I never got into it past that point. I'm assuming it's probably good, though. I mean, I've kind of heard good things about it. I wouldn't think it would be terrible.
What about the Super Nintendo one?
Same thing.
Third one.
Okay.
Same thing, I would imagine.
All right. Well, that was Mr. Tightwhite's #1 favorite retro game to play with his friends. Now we're gonna go to Tylord. Let's see if you can guess his #1.
Tough guessing. Can't guess shit.
Star Fox?
I don't think he played Star Fox co-op.
Oh,
Oh, Street Fighter.
Street Fighter.
Come on.
2.
I thought for sure you were gonna get this like in the first 15 seconds. Somebody was gonna get it.
We did bad.
So Tylord, you chose for your top 5. Let me do a rundown first. For systems, you did Nintendo 64, NES, PlayStation 1, arcade, and then for this Street Fighter 2, you said any fucking version. I don't care which one. Street Fighter 2.
Yeah. Well, arcade. Ever since it started the arcade, that was the thing.
No, you gotta pick a system. I was secluded to the NES, so you gotta pick a system.
Okay, I'll just put the Genesis one here because that's the only one I have complete. I even have the tag on it.
Oh, so. But that's Super Street Fighter 2,
yeah,
though.
It's all the same game. It's like an update or whatever. So, but
you played your own music, Mario.
Yeah, did you? So are you talking about Super Street Fighter 2 or Street Fighter 2?
Any one of them. I'll do World Warrior though, since that was the music. Or was that Champion Edition or World Warrior?
That was the World Warrior. Yeah.
You ruined the podcast, Steve.
God damn it,
World Warrior it is.
So tell us about Street Fighter 2.
Okay, so back same type of situation. My buddies and I would walk to Round Table Pizza. They had this new game called Street Fighter 2, and we didn't know about Street Fighter 1 or anything. We knew about Karate Champ and all that ER Kung Fu. This thing it looked a million times better. It played a million times better. To tell the truth, I didn't do very good at it competitively back then. It took me a while until it came out on consoles. But still, I'd always be playing it at the arcade with my friends. I don't know what it is about this thing. I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way, but just something that attracted me to this game to keep kind of to transcend retro into modern. Like I still play this game all the time competitively. I bring at work break time, like the past 2 years, maybe longer, every break time at my work, a couple of my buddies around my age, and then even some younger kids we've converted. I'm a Street Fighter missionary. I got these young kids into Street Fighter. We play Street Fighter at break at work.
Missionary.
Yeah, but I got these young kids. They're like they were probably like 18 at the time. They're probably around 20 now. But I got all these kids into Street Fighter. They have their girlfriends play it. Like all these kids are starting to surpass me. Like they're getting so good at Street Fighter. But anyway, back in the day.
Y'all play it on the TV screen at your work?
Yeah, we were playing it on the collection on Switch, but then one of these young smart brainiac kids brings his laptop in and we hook up Xbox controllers and play it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but man, it's one of those things that makes going to work a lot more fun. It probably irritates people because we're in the back of the break room, we're all shouting and yelling. Back there. We have a great big break room, but we haven't had any complaints yet. We've been doing it for a few years.
That's cool.
But anyway, getting back to retro though, like my buddies, pretty much most of my friends I've ever had, we would always go play this at the arcade, and then it came home to this is the Genesis one, but I'll go back to World Warrior on Nintendo, Super Nintendo. We would play that all the time. It seemed like for hours, like we would be fighting each other or trying to beat arcade mode, and that helps out a lot playing against people to try to master that arcade mode.
Who was your main fighter?
Either Ryu or M. Bison, but I'm getting to where I like all of them now.
Yeah, I remember playing this game. There was a liquor store 2 blocks away from my house when I was a kid.
Right.
Walked down there with a quarter or 50 cents and try to beat the game with like 50 cents. The original.
Yeah.
I
could get it with, yeah.
I actually have a story, kind of a scary story. I remember going with my Korean friend, Kevin, when we were like in 4th grade down to that liquor store. And my Korean friend, he was good with Ryu.
Yeah.
So these kids show up to challenge him. And my friend Kevin whoops the guy, he whoops him. But we're already in the 2nd round, and the bigger kid, he was an older kid, and he's like, "If you beat me right now, I'm gonna kick your ass." So my friend Kevin beats, he just whatever, beats him. Mind you, we're like in 4th grade and they're like in 7th grade, so we're like, oh shit. And we're in the liquor store like, what do we do now? And I remember like we just stood around for a while and then we're like, let's go. And we started like running. We bolted out of the liquor store, ran down like 2 blocks. There was a Bank of America there, and we hid there, and there was a guy at the ATM, like a man, and we were like, hey, there's these 2 guys chasing us, like, help us. And the guy just looks at us like, well, whatever, kid, and he just walks away. And
that's definitely some 80s shit. Little kids playing video games at a liquor store.
Yeah,
it's like,
it was a liquor store. It was a liquor store. And the adult's like, whatever, kid, walks away. So we're just standing there in front of the ATM. The kids, of course, find us, start walking towards us. The bigger kid walks up to my friend Kevin and punches him right in the nose. And Kevin starts crying. He holds his face, starts crying like a little kid. And I'm just standing there next to him like, what am I supposed to do? This kid's bigger than us.
Please tell me that kid, as soon as he punched him, yelled Hadouken.
No, he just like looked at him and was like, oh shit, I made him cry, and he left. He like just ran away with his other friend. So every time I think of Street Fighter 2, I always remember that Kevin getting.
Does anybody else have a story where they like got into a fist fight over a video game?
Yeah.
No one messed with me.
I did not beat up someone because of playing a game, but someone stole a game from me, an NES game, and the next day he came over, and I found out about it, and I beat his ass in my driveway. I beat him up into a fence, like pulverized him into a fence, a metal fence that was my whole backyard, just like pulverized his ass. I was like so pissed off.
How did you beat him up though? With like just right hands or?
Yeah, just fists. I just punched the shit out of him until he's like his head was like almost engulfed in the fence.
So note to self: never steal a video game from Tight White.
That ain't cool, man. Stealing games from people, especially back then, man.
Hey, go! Kids, go!
It's all right.
That's actually how Kevin was crying.
Don't beat that kid into a fence, Steve.
And I remember feeling bad because I was standing next to him, but I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? This kid's bigger than us.
Hello, Steve's wife.
That's my daughter.
Oh no, not yeah. I thought she was behind you. Oh, there's somebody else.
Dude, but remember Street Fighter 2 in those days? Like you know, now you go into a lobby. Back then, you would put if 2 guys were fighting.
Oh, you put a quarter.
You put a quarter. You put your quarter right there. I'm next. I got next.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one of those where, like I was saying, like the cheap moves, you know, the guys would do. They'd get you on the side of the screen where you couldn't move any further. And my best friend Philip was the best at it. I think he chose Blanca like as his character all the time, and he would do like this little low grab, you know, like claws out at your ankle, and just
like
get you
slide,
in the, he would just do that constantly, and you'd get so mad. It almost caused some fights, but I didn't beat anybody.
You never punched them in the nose?
Nah, I never punched them.
That's what I was going to ask you guys. Like a person like myself that's unfamiliar with games like that, could I like compete with you guys if I did some bullshit like that? Like just button mash a certain sweep constantly?
No.
Because I remember playing like testing myself at Mortal Kombat. I think it was Mortal Kombat 2. And I was doing like a sweep move and shit. And I like made it way up on the charts. And I was like, damn, I'm beating everybody.
There's a couple games like that. Like there's some Tekken that you can like juggle people in the air you can beat them before they hit the ground. But
yeah,
I don't know with Street Fighter though.
Yeah,
I never got into Street Fighter. Never got into it.
But
like, the more I still play it now, and I still am finding out new things like about it.
I was too busy playing real games like Gauntlet in the arcade.
We're all into the cross-ups now. It's called crossover crop up, where you aim the jump kick, but you don't know if he's going to hit you in the front or the back. You kind of aim for the other side. So if he's blocking, he's hitting the wrong way, so you hit him, and then you can pull a combo into that. So it gets.
You guys ever play a real man's game called Gauntlet at the arcade?
Never played that.
Nope.
Yep. That was a good one.
Fucking Gauntlet was awesome, man. I fucking loved Gauntlet.
I remember with Street Fighter 2, there was also like little like taboo thing, like little hidden stuff. Like someone would say like, "Oh, do you know you could do the handcuffs with Guile?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?"
I did see someone do that before. That was unless it was some kind of modded machine. I saw someone. We had this ice cream parlor by the high school, and it was packed with kids. It had 3 Street Fighter cabinets, and I did see a kid do that. The handcuff.
So did they have any babyfication on Street Fighter? Any kind of fatalities, or they had any of that in Street Fighter?
I don't think so. Nope. Not nothing like that.
Oh, they really missed the boat on that, didn't they?
But the I remember like being nervous when people would pick like someone like Guile or Chung Li. I was like, oh shit, this guy knows how to play. I think because he's picking Guile.
Guile was usually my go-to character, but I think my favorite stage, like we didn't talk about that yet. My favorite stage was probably Vega. You know, you're like in the cage match.
Yeah. I like the music in there too.
Yeah.
You guys ever smoke any weed or drop any acid before you play Street Fighter?
No, I was probably only drinking some choco milk back then. Is this the theme you're talking about right here?
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
When you got to these stages in Street Fighter, you knew like, all right.
Oh yeah.
I gotta step up my A game. I'm fighting Balrog, Vega, and
these theme songs seem kind of, I don't know. They seem kind of soft to me. a lot of them seem like they're not like, you know what I mean? Like some of the ones you've been playing, they don't seem like they're like hardcore like Street Fighter type of or fighting games.
But the Kin theme is the hardest one.
Go.
I think this is
go do
Mr.
Stuff.
Tight White's Jason Goes to Hell, Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me go to my my number. This is my number 1 pick.
About time. Come on.
Okay. Python, okay.
Yeah.
This is Moo Moo Farm in Mario Kart 64. So Tylord and I had 2 games on our top 5. This was like shit. I played this game religiously in high school. I remember going over to my friend's house. We even had a point system. We would play through all the maps, and like first place got 10 points. If you got first place on the map, 10 points. Second place, 5 points. We would write everything down. Like, all right, and we would play all the stages, and all right, you won. And this was like, and I was never good because I chose Mario, so I was always like at the end. So I just like playing this game.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah. So that was so we don't got to talk about this one because we already brought it up in the past with Tylord. This was your what number was it?
Yeah, it was
your number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Was there any Mario Kart game that you felt was a failure?
I didn't like the GameCube one.
Double Dash.
Double Dash. I didn't like that.
I can see a little bit of that, maybe.
To me, I have the one on the Switch right now. I didn't really play the one on the Wii. To me, this was the best one, Mario Kart 64.
But in defense of the GameCube one had varieties of different consoles on it.
Well, and you could play co-op on the same car too. So you got one guy, you'd switch each other out.
Just something about it.
Well, besides the co-op though, you could actually play the GBA games. You could play the different consoles. You could play like the N64, couldn't you? Yeah, you definitely could. You could play games on the GameCube one from all the different consoles before it. Y'all remember that, right?
That was the one on DS, had the previous courses on it. It was like Mario Kart DS.
I think the GameCube one you could play the consoles on the previous consoles.
You know which one my number 2 is? The one for the GBA, the Mario Kart Super Circuit.
Super Circuit.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
I never played that one.
That one's good.
I mean, I guess my overall point is Mario Kart didn't do too many. It never did too much wrong. It really was a great franchise.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those where it's like, it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even the Mario Kart on the Wii was really good. Well, I mean, they all were. The Mario Kart on the Wii U was great.
I remember that it would sometimes get heated when you would hit someone with the red shell, and you're kind of like, "Oh, I was trying to hit the other guy in front of you."
It's like it's like a
fucking bitch, you hit me.
And the newer ones, there was like a blue shell that was even worse that people hate or something.
Yeah, the blue shell goes from the back all the way to the front. It hits number one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I must know it was all about that red shell, the red shell trio, or the orbiting 3 red shells.
Damn, when you had those 3 rotating shells, you knew you were in good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was our number. Sorry, Zombie, you're gonna say something?
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's our number 5. I wanted to ask you guys if there was any honorable mentions that were gonna crack the top 5 but didn't. I'll start with you, Zombie. Was there any that were about to make it?
Yeah, I almost chose Battletoads.
Oh shit, that's a controversial pick right there.
We used to play it. I mean, it's so hard, and that's why I didn't put it on there, because you only get to play half the game. Nobody ever beat that game.
And I don't know if you guys have played the new Battletoads on the Xbox One.
No.
Oh man, first stage is fun, and then I don't even know if you can consider it a game after that. It's bad.
Really?
It's bad.
Oh, is it not? Is it hard, or is it just not fun?
It doesn't make sense. It just does. It like says push this button. It's like timed things. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
That was my honorable mention.
That was your only one? You didn't have any other end on the bench?
No, I mentioned one earlier, but I forgot what I had said.
And what about you, Tight White? Any honorable mentions?
I'm not sure, man. I mean, I really didn't think about this. Like I said earlier, in NBA Jam, again, for whatever reason, I thought that I was supposed to do NES. I don't know why. Like, I just checked the text just to make sure that it wasn't me that was screwing up. And I definitely screwed up. So
you just really like NES.
NBA Jam for sure would have been one of those that possibly could have broken into that top 5. What else, man? I don't know, man. I can't think of another game, to be honest with you.
I'll throw another one in there, and because we played it at the arcade too, so I know it's early enough to be retro. But that was Samurai Showdown.
Oh, Samurai Showdown.
Yeah, yep. That was such a great fighting game.
A lot of blood.
Yeah, and the combos that you could do on there, and just I don't remember any of the characters' names.
There was the Freddy Krueger green guy.
Yeah, that like rolled around.
Oh yeah, remember
and,
the
like,
fake guy?
Stabbed you. Yeah. He'd like shove his claw out at you.
All right. Well, in that same vein, actually, I can say another game for sure. Gauntlet, man, and the arcade Gauntlet. That was one of the best co-op games ever created. Definitely, you had 4 different players in the game with you. Yeah, definitely Gauntlet.
What about you, Tylord? Any ones that were like right there on the cusp of making the top
I was going
5?
to choose Joust. I think I mentioned that on one of our other.
Was that a co-op?
Yeah, you could do co-op with Joust.
Was it co-op on the Atari or just the arcade?
It was Atari 7800. My buddy and I.
Yep, I owned it.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
Joust was definitely an underrated game, man. That was a really fun game.
Yeah. It's kind of simple, but it's really fun.
Joust, man. That's the oldest one on the almost that. That's the oldest one, I think.
That is an old co-op game. Oh, you know what? Mario Brothers was another good, fun co-op game. The original Mario Brothers.
True. Yeah.
The turtle shells.
The pipes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was one we play a lot. Other than that, the only thing I can think of is like Mario 3. Like, it's not really co-op or competitive, but you take turns and then you can still the levels that your partner wants, or if you kind of get heat from I want that level, or no, I want that Toad House, or
no, you can't use that one. That's not co-op.
Yeah, no, you can. But you can if you go on your partner, it'll turn into the Mario game, and you can still hit their stars and fire flowers and whatnot.
Really?
Yeah.
So I guess I should have asked you guys for honorable mentions, but for mine, I had Zombies Ate My Neighbors for the Genesis, TMNT for the arcade, TMNT Hyperstone Heist for the Genesis, the X-Men 4-player arcade game, the Simpsons arcade game.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Saturday Night Slam Masters for the Super Nintendo. General Chaos for the Genesis. It's not a very well-known one, but that's a fun one. River City Ransom for the Nintendo.
Oh, you could do 2-player on that?
Yeah, 2 players, yeah.
Oh, that's tight. I didn't know you could
that came out after Double Dragon.
Yeah, so those were my honorable mentions. And looking back at our list, like I had 3 N64 games, 1 PS1 game, 1 Genesis game. I think the Nintendo 64, I'm not a big Nintendo guy, but the Nintendo 64 for me is like my favorite. I think it's my favorite Nintendo game, my Nintendo system, my favorite. Tylord, you had 1 N64, 1 NES, 1 PS1, 1 arcade, and 1 any fucking version. That was Street Fighter 2. Tight White had 5 NES games.
Makes no sense to go over it.
Because he really likes the NES. And Zomberry was the only one that had, like, he didn't have duplicate systems. 1 SNES, 1 NES, 1 arcade, 1 Sega Genesis, 1 N64.
Right.
I would say the N64 has the worst controller of all time.
Agreed.
No, it's not that
It's
bad.
the worst controller of all time.
Well, I don't know about all time. I mean, you can go back pretty far to some shit,
okay. Well, let's say the main consoles,
since the NES.
like the big time consoles, it's the worst.
It's big and clunky, and it's kind of hard to store. But other than that, like it feels good. You can handle it many different ways.
And again, the games have not aged well. If I'm going to go with the console, I'm definitely going with the PS1 before the N64 because of the controllers on the.
I would,
PS1.
because the variety, I guess. But certain games you can't do on. They couldn't have been done that like GoldenEye and those wrestling games. They just wouldn't have been the same on PlayStation.
It is an odd shaped controller because half of the time you hold half of it. Or 2/3 of it.
There's many ways. Like if it not, I try to explain this to people. If you hold, like when you play GoldenEye, if you play with your right hand on the trigger and your left thumb on the stick, there's a setting where you could use just hold the left side, like the D-pad. You can move around, so you can play like a modern first-person shooter, like with the trigger and the analog, and then. Your left hand would do the D-pad, like move the guy around. Like
if you need diagrams, really it's pretty bad.
yeah. I mean, if you grew up with it, I understand. But if you're not nostalgic about it and you try to go back to that system and play with that controller, you're like, what the fuck is this fucking piece of shit? Like literally, like it's a piece of shit. You're like,
even growing up with it, it was pretty bad. The stick wore out pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then if you were playing, depending on the game you're playing, if you're playing Smash or something, I mean, that thing, it had no traction on the thumbstick, and so it would always slip out of your hand.
It's just kind of clunky. It's hard to stack up, and it's kind of an eyesore. Yeah, actually, that whole system's like an eyesore. Like if you bring over a girlfriend, like they think you're a baby. Like a PlayStation looks sleek and cool, but that thing is kind of clunky.
I mean,
at least the N64 did something cool with making a bunch of different colors for it,
which
nobody else was doing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always that conversation between what's best, N64 or PS1, and like because of the controllers, I definitely go with PS1. But then the game variety on the PS1, whether you're talking about RPGs or shooters, the volume of games and variety of the PS1. Not only that, the CD sound that came out of the PS1, I feel like it dominates the N64. And I'm so tired of people saying the N64 is better just because the N64 has this Zelda game or this Mario game. I'm like tired of it. It's like, no, it's not better.
It's got the video too. Like those little cartridges couldn't hold much on N64, but overall, for me, it's PlayStation because of the variety of the sound and the visuals. But like something like Zelda, I know you don't like that, but to me, like that thing, like.
What do you mean? I don't like Zelda? What?
No, Ocarina of Time. Do you like that one?
Of course. Oh, who doesn't like Ocarina of Time?
Okay, I just think that game like dominates like there's not one PS1 game that can touch that, I don't think. But overall, other than that, the library of PS1s just can't.
It was just a more top-heavy system, so of the they made 296 N64 games, and I only know that because I only need 12 more for a complete set. But you could probably take 20 of the best N64 games, and the rest of them are shit. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, no, I get your point. Like, Ocarina of Time, and don't forget Mario 64. I mean, these games are revolutionary. They're like they're unbelievable. Yeah. But again, you know what I'm saying? PS1 had Symphony of the Night. It had so much volume over that it kind of the hell was that? It had so much over that it was like with the volume of incredible games, it was like
there's probably like 10 or 5-star games on PlayStation, like 50 of them I've never even heard of before. Like there's so many good games on PlayStation 1.
Yeah, I do give the N64 credit because that that jump from 2D to the Mario 64 was unbelievable. Like no one has seen anything like that at that time. That was the 3D introduction into video games. Like no one has done anything like that. So I give them credit for that. I totally respect that.
It's kind of ridiculous that about probably 20% of the entire collection is sports games on the N64. And that's not even if you count racing games, because there's a shit ton of those too, and wrestling games.
The wrestling games. Well, not Tylord, not WCW Mayhem. That was not
that was not. And neither is Nitro.
No.
Warzone, not good.
Oh, those are
WrestleMania 2000.
Just get the THQ ones, right?
The THQ. What is that developer that did those?
Aki.
No Mercy.
Those are the best. Yeah.
Yes. Now that I've kicked some game, Mario knows that he's wrong. The N64 is not better than the PS1, but I also want him to recognize that the NES is better than the N64. I mean, come on. I mean, there's so much.
I think classics. Maybe the NES is better, but as far as like co-op, especially 4-player co-op, I think the N64 is hard to touch. 4-player co-op.
You might get me on co-op. I'm not going to argue that.
I only like the N64 because of the co-op.
It's kind of like what's the best movie in any series? It's always the first one. So the NES basically bridged that gap for co-op.
Yeah, but that was our list. We went down our list, mentioned honorable mentions. I haven't told you guys this, but we're actually gonna play a little trivia game to finish up the podcast. This will not be a theme trivia because
we're wrestling.
Hey, what did you guess on the theme music? Don't be giving us a hard time there, Mario. I didn't hear you guess anything. I guessed at least one or two.
I'm the host. I don't have to guess, but no themes because I think as we've seen in this episode, Tylord, it's kind of tough to beat.
You got the belt.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to a commercial break, come back, and do the trivia game.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
Pack up your stuff. I got a little surprise for you here.
Check it out. What do you think about that? You got real-time, 3D, lush organic environments. How's that make you feel, buddy?
Feel a little like your days are numbered?
I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
You're hurting my elbow.
So we're going to play a trivia game. Name that retro game. So it's a free-for-all. Okay. So everybody, it's a 3-way dance right here. Here are the rules. I'm going to name you 10 co-op or competitive games, retro games, and I'm only going to list the playable characters.
Oh, okay.
So whoever, whoever can pop up an emoji first, that's your buzzer. I don't know. Do you guys know how to pop up an emoji here?
No.
I don't know how to do that.
You go to the bottom at the reactions. Pop up any emoji. You know how to pop one up?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Go to reactions and just push whatever emoji. There you go. Zomberry did it. You see it?
I don't have that.
You don't have that on your phone? All right, so Tylord, for you gotta raise your hand. Like, actually raise your hand.
Well, my phone might be too old.
Yeah, so just raise your hand if you know it.
Okay.
And that's your buzzer. You know how to do it, Tight White?
Yeah, I got it. You have a Razor phone, or what's going on? What year is that phone?
It's that Nokia 5120.
Tell us what year your phone is. I want to know.
What, mine?
Yeah.
It's a couple of years old.
Oh, okay.
You're
good.
It was the cheapest one I could get at the time. It was like $100.
I thought I was like 20 years old.
I did have one for about 5 years. This is a Samsung. It's not that
crotch shot.
Yeah, I was like, what are we gonna see right here? All right, so we're gonna start with number 1. These are the playable, selectable characters in this co-op competitive game. Bob and Bub. You can either select Bob or Bub, and this co-op / competitive game. You guys tap out?
Yeah, that's a tough one. If we guess wrong, do we lose points?
You lose 1 point. Thank you for bringing that up.
I got nothing.
I'm passing.
So, Bob and Bub are from Bubble Bobble.
Oh, right.
I was just saying, a boy and his blob.
So, Bub for Bubble and Bob for Bubble. All right, let's go to number 2.
Okay.
These are the playable characters in this co-op / competitive game.
I don't think I know the characters in any game except for Mario Brothers.
Gunstar Red and Gunstar Blue.
Gunstar Heroes?
You haven't put your emoji.
Oh, Gunstar Heroes. Gunstar Heroes.
All right, Mr. Tight White, what is it?
Gunstar Heroes.
All right. Mrs. Tight White got it. It's Gunstar Hero. So you gotta raise your hand or put an emoji for me to call on you.
That's what's up.
All right. So right now, Mr. Tight White is up 1-0.
Fuck y'all bitches. I'm up in this motherfucker.
So number 3. These are the playable, selectable characters in this game. There's Major Dutch Schaefer. There's Lieutenant.
I got it.
Wait, I lost my emojis.
I got it.
Lieutenant Lynn. Oh, you got it? What is it, Tyler?
Yeah. Alien versus Predator arcade.
God damn, he got it with the first one.
Damn.
And I thought for sure I was gonna have to name all 4 of them.
I am not doing well in this game.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger's name on Predator, right?
Is it? Oh, Dutch.
Yeah.
You'd have to be like the guy from Dustin Hoffman from Rain Man to get that fucking answer that quick.
I remember Arnold's character was in that game, and I recognize that name.
He's like a clairvoyant.
When I put this game, I was like, nobody's gonna get it until I name the alien predator or alien hunter. This guy got it on the first one.
Steve's like, how did Tight White get that first answer? He's thinking like I'm some kind of like I'm Pinky of the Brain or some shit. Like I'm a genius. Like, how did I not get that first answer?
Yeah.
Hey, Tyler, can you do that? Can you replicate that scene where Dutch meets Dylan?
Dylan, you son of a bitch. Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Oh, it is Schwarzenegger.
All right, so right now, so far, it's 1-1.
And 0.
Yeah, and 0. So we got 1 for Mr. Tight White, 1 for Tylord, 0 for Zomberry. All right, the 4th one right here. Gordon.
Okay, Half-Life.
All right, so that's a negative 1 for Mr. Tight White right here.
Oh, fuck.
So no, now you're at 0 because you had 1.
Either co-op,
hey, but is Half-Life a co-op or?
Yeah.
Nope.
No, it's not.
Nope.
Fuck.
So now White is at 0. So Gordon Carla and Scooter from this co-op or competitive retro game. And remember, it's anything pre-2000.
This game is worse than gluten-free shit.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You guys tap out?
Yep.
All right, that was Alien Storm for the Sega Genesis.
Shit.
Never played it.
I don't think any of us have played it.
So right now, Tylord is up 1, White 0, Zomberry 0. Next game, Biff.
I shouldn't be down because no one answered the question right. You should only lose.
You
points.
Guessed it. You got you get a point deducted.
I'm changing the rules to this game. If nobody answers it right, why should I lose points? It doesn't make no sense.
You can't just guess willy nilly. All right, so you got Biff, Gunlock, Scorpion, Grater, Jumbo, El Stingray.
I would have guessed Back to the Future, but that's not my guess.
Titanic Tim, The Great Oni, King Rastaman.
Nobody knows this.
I got it.
You got it?
Oh, you got it? What is it?
Saturday Night Slam.
Oh, shit. Tylord got it. It is Saturday Night Slam.
Knew there was going to be a wrestling one in there.
We're out.
I from El Stingray's little Rey Mysterio guy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, let me play this.
You win. Perfect.
So Tylord is up 2, Zomberry 0, White 0. Next one, we got Randy, Prim, Popoy. Now remember, this could be a competitive or a multiplayer or a co-op game. 2000, pre-2000. Randy, Prim, Popoy.
This is totally foreign to me. Like, I don't know what is going on.
No clue.
No one's going to guess? That is Secret of Mana on the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
That was up Zomberry's alley right there.
I thought the whole time I thought I was looking at Zomberry. I thought he was going to get
it. That's one that I've not played.
He's got. There's a Biff in there.
I thought because you're the Final Fantasy fanatic, I thought you were going to get this one. All right, next game. Alex and Ryan. Alex and Ryan.
I mean, it's just some random fucking names. Like, who would know this? Steve's a genius, and he doesn't know it.
I'm trying to just think of games where there's only 2 playable characters.
So remember, this is only 2000 and down. Only 2 selectable characters.
Does Zombie Meets My Neighbors have 2 characters? I don't even fucking know.
All right, I'm gonna guess River City Ransom.
Yeah, Zomberry's got it.
Nice,
It is
nice.
River City Ransom. So we got a game going here. Tylord 2, Zomberry 1, White 0. All right, next game. Steve, Billy, Bob, and Cormano.
Fuck this game. It's a dumb game.
There's 4 selectable characters. Steve, Billy, Bob, and Cormano.
We need one that's Homer, Marge,
And Lisa, yeah.
You guys tap out? All right. That was Sunset Riders.
Oh, okay.
All right,
I don't even get into
right.
like video games that I play. I don't even get into the instruction manual. I don't even know who's what. I don't even know. I mean, besides like Samus and shit like that.
All right, next one. We got Cody, Guy. All right, Tylord. I see Tylord.
Final fight.
Yep, final fight. And I was going to say Mike Hagar.
I got one playable character right here. Guess what this is?
So for those, this is an audio podcast. Mr. Tightwhite giving us the middle finger. Right?
Yeah, that's my playable character.
Telling us that we're number one. Tylord's 3, Zomberry 1, Mr. White 0, and there's only one guest left, one question left. So, I mean, you can make it respectable, Zomberry, with this next one if you get this next one right. But that's
hold on. Let me drop a box of toothpicks on the ground and see if Tylord guesses how many are on the ground.
All right, so this is the last one. Mac and Joe. Zomberry's got it.
Joe and Mac.
There you go.
Hey, I said Joe and Mac.
You got to raise your hand.
Your emoji.
Yeah, you have to raise.
I said it. This motherfucker doesn't have any emoji, Tylord, so I said it. Joe and Mac.
So that's the end of the game. Tylord 3, Zomberry 2, Mr. White 0.
I got Joe and Mac. What the fuck are you talking about?
You gotta follow the rules. You gotta raise your hand like a good boy.
Steve's not playing by the rules. He has no emojis. Come on.
So Tylord, this is for you.
You win. Perfect.
Oh God.
So you win that name that retro game trivia game. We're gonna go to commercials and
how many did Tylord have, by the way?
3. You got 3.
Okay, I was about to say because I
Zomberry
had 2 officially, really.
and Tightwhite, you got 1, but then you guessed something wrong. I forgot what you said.
No, I had 2.
Yeah. So we're
Zomberry.
So we're gonna go to commercials, come back, and wrap things up.
WWF Royal Rumble from Acclaim. Now on Genesis. More wrestling superstars. More specialty moves than ever. 16 make mayhem. 6 men in the ring action. WWF Royal Rumble on Super NES and now on Genesis. Get ready to rumble.
Yeah, so that wraps it up for our podcast. That was our, we named our top 5. We went through that trivia game. Congratulations, Tylord. So thank you guys. Thank you, Zomberry. Thank you, Mr. Tightwhite and Tylord for joining this podcast. I'm gonna go around so you guys can plug your stuff where they can find you. Zomberry, like you mentioned earlier, you're not doing the YouTube or anything yet. What do you let people? Do you want people to follow you or not?
I mean, I've got a channel technically, but there's nothing on there to watch. So no, you could find me on Tightwhite's streams. And
we'll be doing the Nightmare on Elm Street very soon. So
I'm on a couple of different game collecting and reselling Discords. So maybe somebody might know me from there, but probably not.
Do you want to drop down your personal address so someone can send you a postcard?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what's your PO box so we can send you free games?
Let me just throw out my Facebook page and phone number.
You know what? Put down your PO box.
You want to just text me?
No, put down your PO box so we can send you every Jason Goes to Hell version variant that was ever made in the history of the world. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh, don't you have a laser disc back there of it?
Yeah, of course.
So Zomberry not yet doesn't have his own channel, but like he said, you can find him on Mr. Tightwhite streams once a month. And you should come down because it's kind of like a hangout. We just drink beer, talk about horror movies, laugh, good times.
I technically have an Instagram, but I don't do shit on there either.
So pretty much don't follow Zomberry. Go.
Yeah,
pretty much.
So Tightwhite, why don't you Tightwhite, why don't you tell the people where they can find you and what you got coming up?
Nothing coming up other than Tightwhite's horror movie streams. If you want to get a hold of me, I'm at Tylord Stevenson on YouTube. I haven't really been doing much on that. Mostly just prepping for the horror movie stuff. And then I'm on Instagram at Tylord79, but I don't really post anything on there. But mostly with Zomberry, yourself, and Mr. Tightwhite with his little fun horror movie ranking streams.
And Tylord, from the four of us, we know, like, I know Tight White likes having Tylord on because he gets super enthusiastic about a lot of the movies, and he knows his stuff, right, Tight White? So why don't you tell the people like where they can find you, where you're at?
Yeah, Steve's great, man. Definitely follow Tylord on his YouTube channel and check out his videos for sure. You know, like I said in the beginning, my channels are Mr. Tight White, MR period TIGHT WHITE, and you know, we do Goodwill video game collecting videos and do all kinds of skits and stuff and have fun. And then I have other channels that are actually, my other channel just hit 100 subscribers, which I need to do a giveaway, which is Dvdeez Nuts and Popcorn, DVDEEZ Nuts and Popcorn. So I'm going to be doing a giveaway on that channel. And that channel, we basically, there's no video games in it. We just like hunt horror movies and cool out of print movies and stuff like that and show them off. So that's cool. And then I got another channel, Non-Essential Gaming, but I've really not done anything on that as far as streaming is concerned. It's a streaming video game channel where I show off all these games and stream video games and beat games. So that's pretty much it, man. That's all I'm doing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Mr. Tight White channel will be doing a Nightmare on Elm Street ranking film very soon here. And after that, maybe we'll do a Jaws rate and review of the first, how many Jaws movies are there? Is there 3 or 4?
There's 4, right?
Yeah, 4.
We'll do 4 of those. And then after that, we'll let the YouTubers decide what the next, hopefully they'll decide Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the next ranking, because that's my favorite franchise of all time.
Yeah, and check it out, because we also do giveaways on those live streams. Like, I know for the last stream, we gave away like a couple of Blu-rays. I gave away a 3-in-1 Blu-ray. Tight White, you gave away something too, right?
Yeah, I gave like a factory sealed. I think it was like Freddy versus Jason or whatever, or something like that.
And I think you guys gave away stuff too, right?
I sent out a 4 or 5 movies. I just sent it out yesterday. If he's watching with Chris, what's his name on YouTube?
Isn't it Chris Espinoza or something like that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure his YouTube name, but
I just sent them out yesterday or Saturday. I sent his stuff out.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on. It was
good
times.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining. Zomberry, Tight White, Tylord. Thank you guys for being on. Can you, if you guys want to be part of the podcast and just follow up on what episodes are coming up, follow me on Retro Tiburon. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. Just follow me on there. And
listen, if you want me a part of any podcast, I'll always be available to you guys. I mean, anytime you want me, man. And you met on a totally different situation where we you know what I'm saying, on a different type of situation. If you want me on the stream, I'll always be on there for you, man.
So, same with me, Mario.
Yeah, you know, I consider you my friend, man. Anytime you want me to do a stream, if you don't want me to do a stream, just don't tell me about it. But if you're like, you got my number, so just text me, say, I'm doing this stream. I'm going to be a part of it. I'm gonna take notes and be prepared for it. And
so I'm gonna put you on, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm gonna put all 3 of you on the spot right now. So in October, for October's episode, I want to do a top 5 all-time favorite horror movies.
Oh shit! Well, you know I got to be part of that, man. Yep. You know I got to be part of that.
So
we'll be there.
On that last note, you know, see you guys all on the other side. As always, I'll leave you with the sounds of the band Ternura. See you guys next month.
Shout out to everybody, man. Peace out, guys. I love you guys.
Thank you, guys.